That's a man.
Peyton Manning stepping out.
It's the Zion Show.
Pass is caught by Jones.
Georgia Tech has dominated NC State over the years, especially at home where the Pack have managed just 2 wins in the history of the series. This year, the Yellow Jacket success is in the hands of an 18-year-old freshman. Quarterback Reggie Ball had the poise of an upperclassman as he led the Ramblin' Wreck in a comeback overtime win at Vanderbilt last Saturday. While Ball is the new kid on the block, his counterpart, Phillip Rivers, is a storied veteran. The Heisman Trophy candidate is the ACC's career leader in total offense. But today, the Pack have revenge on their minds. A year ago, State was 9-0 before Georgia Tech came to town and beat them. It's homecoming in Atlanta as the Georgia Tech Ramblin' Wreck hosts the North Carolina State Wolfpack next.
He's got a touchdown! Touchdown, Florida State!
Touchdown, North Carolina!
10-5, give it to him.
There's a special feel when homecoming hits a college campus, and it is taking hold here at Georgia Tech. The Ramblin' Wreck parade began at 9 o'clock this morning, and the Ramblin' Wreck feels they've got the ideal opponent for homecoming. Welcome to Bobby Dodd Stadium, historic Grant Field in Atlanta, as Jefferson Pilot Sports brings you the Citgo ACC Game of the Week. The Wolfpack of NC State taking on the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Good afternoon, everybody. Steve Martin here, along with Rick Doc Walker. 20th year of ACC football on JP Sports, and what a great way to start by looking at one of the great quarterbacks in this country, Phillip Rivers.
Well, Phillip Rivers gives you the total package. This young man's numbers are spectacular. 4 of his 5 ball games, he's been over 300 yards, 80% of completion rate, 12 touchdowns. He's done it all.
469 total yards against North Carolina in a win a week ago, and there's probably no bigger fan than the man who will coach against him today, Georgia Tech head coach Chan Gailey.
Probably the best quarterback in the nation. He is playing phenomenally well at this point, and I have a great deal of respect for the way he prepares and plays the game. He looks like Marino to me on the field. He's got that wide stance, he's got that knee brace on his left knee, and he sees the field well, and he's got a quick release. I see a lot of that in him.
And when you say Marino, I say competitiveness and accuracy. Now his counterpart is that young man in your screen, Reggie Ball. He's young, he's inexperienced, but boy is he exciting. You don't know what you're going to get, but it could be the whole package.
And he kept his team in a winning mark last week with a win over Vanderbilt. We could see one of the country's great tailbacks in T.A. McClendon. When we come back, Mike Hogwood will update us on the injury situation for NC State running backs. Welcome back. Here's the Ramblin' Wreck. It's homecoming at Georgia Tech. And the Yellow Jackets come into this game fresh off an overtime win against Vanderbilt. Chuck Amato's NC State Wolfpack comes into this game on a big win over their arch rivals North Carolina, 47-34 at home at Carter Finley Stadium. And they're trying to do something they haven't been able to do in 15 years, and that is win here in Atlanta. The Wolfpack won the opening coin toss. They have deferred their option to the second half. They bring a 3-2 record in. There's Chan Gailey in his second year as head coach. 9-9 mark. You see, of course, the Yellow Jackets have had their share of problems with injuries and eligibility, but they put that behind them, and they've had some great ball games this year. They beat Auburn. They nearly beat Florida State. A lot of people thought this was going to be an undermanned crew, but it looks like Chan Gailey has recruited very, very well. We'll see one man, Reggie Ball, very early. You see him, the quarterback, and he's one of the success stories of this Georgia Tech team. Unpredictable, Doc, is what the local newspaper pundits call this team in a very good way.
Well, you know, youth and enthusiasm and age and experience, really the contrast between the two quarterbacks. But Georgia Tech, you look at the stadium, look at the commitment the university has made to their football program, and I think it's paying off.
Dennis Davis set to receive John Delaney's kick, and this is in the field of play for a change. This is Kenny Scott receiving the kick, and he takes it to the corner and is driven out of bounds by A.J. Davis at the 32-yard line. A nice return of about 30, and here's Reggie Ball, true freshman out of Stone Mountain, Georgia. He was an All-American, first-team All-State 5A. There you see 49% of his passes complete. He's thrown 5 interceptions but 2 touchdowns and ran for a 25-yard scamper to end things in overtime at Vanderbilt a week ago. It'll be 1st and 10 for Georgia Tech at their own 32-yard line. Steve Martin here along with Doc Walker and Mike Hogward. We're glad you're joining us on our Citgo ACC Game of the Week. Split out wide is Curry and Bilbo, and a stack split to the right side. That's Foshi, the tight end in motion. Reggie Ball rolls right. In pursuit, Thomas, a pass incomplete, intended for Bilbo. And let's take a look at our Chevy starting lineup. P.J. Daniels in the backfield, third in the ACC in rushing. Jimmy Dixon, Nate Curry, Jonathan Smith, and John Paul Foshi are the specialists. The offensive line anchored by Remington Award nominee Hugh Riley at center. Nat Dorsey, Tidwell Neal, Honeycutt, and Wallace make up the front line for Georgia Tech. Yellow Jackets now staring at a 2nd and 10 as they go from their own 32-yard line. Reggie Ball with an experienced offensive line, but his size could be a factor here today as well as State tries to keep him in the pocket. Here's the pass to the sidelines. It is incomplete, intended for Jonathan Smith. Let's take a look at the Wolfpack defense here. And you look at the starters. Mario Williams, and many call him the next Julius Peppers. 7 tackles for loss. He's a true freshman.
No doubt.
Alan Holloway, John McCargo, and Ronaldo Moses, who's all of 210 pounds. Pat Thomas at the weak side linebacker. Manny Lawson steps to the strong side. Oliver Hoyt not starting today. Freddie Autry-Lindsey in the middle. Andre Maddox is the rover. Troy Graham, Greg Golden, and Lamont Reed in the secondary. Graham coming off a broken foot.
Big down for Tech. This is tough on a freshman quarterback. You really got to improve on your conversion rate on 3rd down.
3rd and 10. You don't want to get into these 3rd and long situations. 3-man rush for the Wolfpack. Here's ball over the middle. It is complete to Jonathan Smith. And Smith has the first down at the 48-yard line. A gain of 16. Garland Heath comes in, the extra defensive back, to make the tackle.
Didn't look too young on that one, did he, Steve?
No, he didn't.
Boy, I mean, he was throwing a frozen rope. First of all, it starts with the offensive line. The protection is there. He had the sight line. See, you see the sight lines? Well, it's there. She's got a clear shot, ball right on the mark. Proper distance, good run after the catch. That's how you want to operate on 3rd down.
1st and 10 now here for the Yellow Jackets. Again, Bilbo and Curry on the stack split to the right side. The pitch to the left. This is P.J. Daniels, and Freddie Autry-Lindsey gets great penetration and flattens him for a loss at the 46-yard line.
Tell you what, number 9, Mario Williams, did a great job. This time upfield, we talked about 254 pounds. He did not get hooked, kept the outside arm free, kept the shoulders square. Outstanding leverage.
This kid is a good one, Doc.
You know, fundamentally, you can have speed, and people talk about speed, but I go to fundamentals. Is he sound by the principles of defensive football? And yes, indeed, he is that and more.
And they got a guy on the other side, and Ronaldo Moses, who's every bit as good, a little bit smaller, but he's got quickness. Back to throw. Now on the sprint out, here is Ball using his feet. He gets into NC State territory, and he's got more. One block on the corner, and Greg Golden is going to drive him back in a saving tackle at the 32-yard line. It's going to be a gain of close to 22 yards on the play for Reggie Ball. Bilbo and Curry are the stacked split to the left side. Handoff Daniels. Daniels gets rid of Lawson and surges ahead. He's tackled there by Alan Holloway and Freddie Autry-Lindsey as he crossed the 30 to the 29-yard line. It's a gain of 2. P.J. Daniels, he's 3rd in the ACC in rushing. He was a walk-on, Doc, from Houston, Texas, but he's already come up with a couple of 100-yard days this season.
You love kids in college football that take an opportunity and build on it. You know, it's not where you start in life, it's where you finish.
Exactly.
And I applaud these kids. And right now, Chan Gailey's got to be really excited about his Yellow Jackets and their aggressiveness on offense.
Double tight end set. Smith to the left. Curry to the right. Back to throw. 5-step drop and a floater for Smith. And defended by Greg Golden. A flag is out. Golden on the defense. Holloway put some heat on Reggie Ball, but that was going to be a quick release play anyway.
Maybe a little quicker than they wanted. You mentioned Holloway. That was great pressure from a defensive lineman.
A junior from Clifton Branch, Virginia. And we've got the interference call against the Wolfpack.
It's so tough for corners, and Golden is a good one. Again, we talked about the pressure from Holloway. And there he's giving the flag. He's coaching now. Yeah. He's a freshman. He's coaching.
He's coaching. He's repping.
Yeah, doing it all, man.
Down to the 13-yard line. The penalty's marked off. So it's a 15-yard penalty. Ajanabi Ezemefi is into the ball game. Ace.
Yeah, well,
Ezemefi.
tight end time now, brother. Time to get those Rhodes Scholars involved in the offense.
Ezemefi is the wingback to the right side. Daniels is the lone setback. Ezemefi comes in motion. Here comes Ball back to throw. And he is swamped underneath. First sack of the day. Pat Thomas and Manny Lawson get him. Throw him for a loss to the 21-yard line. A loss of 8 on the play.
Well, consistent pressure. This time they reduced the gaps. And defensively, when you're coming in at a quarterback, you have to do it in a disciplined fashion. And so you're going to see lines coming all the way in. They give him nowhere to run, and you collapse it with great speed.
Call it a 7-yard loss on the play. Brings up second down. And about 17. They can get a first down inside the 3. Reggie Ball's 23-yard run plus an interference penalty against NC State has Georgia Tech knocking on the door. Ball across the middle, ball dropped by Curry. Nate Curry dropped it slightly behind him. Pat Thomas covering on the play for the Wolfpack.
And he's lucky that Thomas slips on the play. One thing that Reggie will learn with experience.
Georgia Tech hasn't been too efficient, Doc, on third down. They're staring at a 3rd and 17. They're 22% on the season.
Yeah, well, that's not what you go after. But, buddy, they're exciting.
3rd down, 17. Ball is going to run it himself. Ball hits to the sideline, and he's driven out of bounds. Andre Maddox, the roverback, would have none of Reggie Ball getting too far beyond the line of scrimmage, and they'll send the field goal kicking unit on at the 19-yard line.
If you really want to get the essence of why speed is so important on defense, now here Reggie Ball is a guy with genuine quicks, and he doesn't hesitate, takes right off, and the ground that Maddox makes up is incredible. He closes the gap, ends the deal.
We are ready for the kick. The field goal attempt by Dan Burnett, who is 7 for 9 this season. And this is going to be a kick of 38 yards out of the hold of Hal Higgins. The kick is up, and it is no good. Wide right. So Georgia Tech does not take advantage. They get down inside the red zone, but they're pushed out on the sack on first down. And they are denied the field goal attempt as it's wide right by Dan Burnett. No score. First quarter action here in Atlanta. Georgia Tech and NC State homecoming for the Rambling Wreck. ACC football is brought to you in part by Chevy Trucks. The NC State Wolfpack ready to take the field after the missed field goal. Phillip Rivers, the man at the controls. No warm-up lap for this lad at 6'5", senior from Athens, Georgia. 14th all-time NCAA passing yardage. He likely will finish career second if he throws another 1,700 yards. He's back to throw on 1st and 10. The pass complete to Jericho Cotchery, and Cotchery carries tacklers with him out to the 28-yard line. Let's take a look at our NC State starting lineup. Of course, we talked about Rivers. There's Cotchery. He's now extended his streak to 32 straight games with that catch. Tremaine Hall, Josh Brown, the starter for T.A. McClendon today. Brian Clark and John Richer. Offensive line, Leroy Harris had a great week against North Carolina a week ago. McKeon, Paulson the center. Ricky Fowler and Sean Locklear is the right tackle. Second down and about 2 to go. Ball just shy of the 29-yard line, out of the shotgun. Rivers has Hall in the backfield. 3-step drop. Hall in the flats. Gets by a tackler, and he's on his way for an NC State first down at the 42-yard line. Darrell Smith brings him down with help from James Butler. And there's the defense. Eric Henderson with a block of the field goal at Vanderbilt that saved overtime. Travis Parker, Mansfield Rotto, and Garris Wilkinson. There, the linebackers. Kearon Fox is the leading tackler for the Tech Yellow Jackets. Darrell Smith and Ethan Brown join him. James Butler, 51 tackles on the season. Houston, Cox, and converted quarterback DeJuan Landry make up the secondary. 1st and 10 at the 40. Pass complete to T.J. Williams, the tight end, and he's driven back and tackled there by Kearon Fox. Also standing him up was Reuben Houston. And here's Phillip Rivers, 77 completion percentage. That's amazing. It's almost comical.
It really is. Well, you see why. Short path, controlled passing game, still difficult. Get the ball in the hands of guys who can make people miss. And Reuben Houston is still trying to figure out you know, how to make a tackle thus far in the game. He's going to have to come up and be sure, and as they proved on Williams, make him pay for it after the catch.
And they've got to get some pressure somehow on Phillip Rivers. So hard to do when he's releasing after 3 steps. 3 wideouts now, and the lone setback, Coach Jackson, and Phillip Rivers called time. Didn't like what he saw. Let's see what they're facing here on 2nd down and 8. Oh, must be cut under that.
Is that Lance Stewart?
He's on camera.
I thought he was
today.
working camera for us.
Yeah, he's not in the fandom. 2nd down and 8 now for the Wolfpack at the 45-yard line. The handoff. That is that is Josh Brown, and he is steered to the ground by Travis Parker. Parker, a sophomore from Hacienda Heights, California.
Great penetration. This time play going away, and you follow the guards down. Work your way on, catch on, and rodeo them down.
Hang on for dear life.
Oh, yeah. Wait for some friends.
Travis Parker this year coming into the game with 6 tackles for loss, a sack and a half. And he's got a nice tackle for loss that time of 2. 3rd down and 10. The Wolfpack 48% on 3rd down conversions this year. They're tops in the ACC and one of the leaders in the country. Rivers hit as he threw. Chris Reese, the strong safety, on the zone blitz, comes in and flattens Phillip Rivers before he had a chance to get rid of the football. That doesn't happen too often.
No, it doesn't. But he doesn't have eyes behind his head. Nice little game, as you mentioned, inside. I think there's a little bit of mixed communication up there. Leroy Harris, who we know has had a tremendous season thus far. That time, give Tech some credit. They confused him.
Here comes a punt by Austin Herbert. Bad kick, but it takes a Wolfpack bounce. And it's loose down there. The Wolfpack say they have it. Georgia Tech fumbles the short punt as it fell among players of both teams. And coming up with it looks to be Andre Maddox.
You talk about emotional whiplash. Here the home crowd applauds a sack. You get a punt. Let's see if we can pick it up. Well, you know, and those coaches do a great job telling guys to, you know, to make certain calls to scatter if the ball is bouncing around and you don't know which way it'll go. But the excitement of the game sometimes clouds the brain cells.
Wow, what a break. What a break for the Wolfpack, who were stymied in that drive and now have new life in Georgia Tech territory at the 32. Nick Moore got his foot on it for Georgia Tech, but then Andre Maddox recovered. Here's Brown, gets out of the grasp of Parker and is chased out of bounds after a 3-yard gain. It is Daryl Smith who chases him out. Also James Butler in on the play as well.
Oh, Travis Parker, boy, he's making a living in the backfield thus far. You know, getting good penetration.
Almost caught Josh Brown again.
And you slow him up, so you take away some of his speed and help your buddies get over and make a play.
Wow, this is a challenge for Georgia Tech now, defending on the short side of the field because of the fumble on the punt. Washington is in a split to the left. Wing to the right is Cotchery, Williams, and now Tremaine Hall. Coach Jackson lined up alongside Phillip Rivers, who's back to throw on 3 steps. Has time, throw to the flats, Tremaine Hall complete. Hall for a first down inside the 20-yard line at the 19. It's a 13-yard gain for Tremaine Hall. Richer in motion, handoff Coach Jackson, and he's hauled down. Kearon Fox has a hand on him. And also inside there also it looked like Daryl Smith. No, that's Henderson. That's Eric Henderson. We got a penalty flag on play. It's against NC State. It's like an unsportsmanlike conduct. So the Wolfpack backed up here. Ron Cherry over talking to Chuck Amato.
And you have to know how to take advantage. The road team, you know, you're in a hostile environment. You get a break. You got to cash in.
That's a 15-yard first down. It takes them out of the 9th. They were down to the 17-yard line. It's going to back them up out of the red zone to the 32.
You know, this is a very emotional game. You will get some flags. You want them physical. You don't want trash talking. You don't want the kind of things that aren't football related to take place. Now, I can understand you're down at the bottom of a pile like this. And see, I look at that, and just from what I see you're defending yourself.
Yeah.
3 guys laying on top of you, and believe me, there's pinching and grabbing and you know, hitting the short ribs. All kinds of things going on at the bottom of that pile.
I don't think there was much air down there for Coach Ray Jackson.
Don't blame Coach Ray on that one.
Second down, 23. Rivers out of the shotgun. Contry and Washington to the wide side of the field. That's where Rivers looks first. Rushes on. Pass complete. Tremaine Hall freezes the tackler, Houston, and he goes out of bounds at about the 23-yard line. So it's a gain on the play of 9. Darrell Smith had some good pressure on Phil Rivers that time. And Tremaine Hall gets a 9-yard gain.
Steve, you talk about courage. Philip Rivers has to hold that ball until the final moment. I mean, you're under pressure. You know you're about to get popped. Good hands, and see, there's the move. This is what makes this kid special. See the block at the end, a double hit. And that time by Richard Washington.
Washington makes the block. It's 3rd down and 14. Wolfpack have been 3rd and long 3 times this afternoon.
Wolfpack call that a twofer.
Here's Rivers to throw. He has Clark. Intercepted. Knocked away. Brian Clark had it at the 5. It is DeJuan Landry who almost intercepted the pass. He knocks it down inside the 5-yard line.
And Ricky Fowler, right guard for NC State, saved this. You know, offensive linemen, you know, they can get their name mentioned for other things than holding. This kid comes back in and gave great protection. And as you mentioned it, that almost went the other way.
This is a 42-yard kick for Adam Kiker, who is 5 for 6 this season. His longest is 29. His career long is 44. Out of the hold of Chris Young, the kick is good. But Georgia Tech's streak of not having a touchdown scored upon them in their opponent's first drive remains and goes to 36. Kiker for 3, Wolfpack by a field goal. Adam Kiker's field goal gives NC State a 3-0 lead. Let's go to Mike Hogwood with our Alltel sideline connection.
Steve, State's going to have to go the rest of the game without John Richard, their tight end, the sophomore from Raleigh. He's been thrown out of the game for unsportsmanlike conduct, and it is more than just talking. It's actually for a physical act that he did, and he will not be available for the Wolfpack the rest of the day.
That puts T.J. Williams alone as the starting tight end, and I know double tight end sets are what Chuck Amato likes to run from time to time. So John Richard, the son of the outlaw, the Outland Trophy winner Jim Richard, out of the ball game.
Well, he had his hand in the face is all that I could see. But again, there's so many things that go on at the bottom of those piles that we can't even broadcast it.
Yeah. The Jiffy Lube well-oiled machine scoring drive, 7 plays. It went 9 yards. It was aided by the fumble recovery on the punt by Georgia Tech, and the Yellow Jackets are actually fortunate that Adam Kiker only kicked a 41-yard field goal, given the fact that they had to defend the short field.
Yeah, but still a good move for State, because anytime you put points on the board following a turnover, you've done your duty.
And John Duraney kicked it out of bounds, or rather kicked it out of the end zone. He's done that a lot for NC State this season. Reggie Ball on 1st and 10. Mario Williams flattened. Here's another linebacker in, but the catch is complete to Jonathan Smith out of the 31-yard line.
Steve, I talked about Philip Rivers cool under pressure. And how about this young freshman, Reggie Ball? I mean, they just sick the dogs on him. And NC State's ever-present pressure. I mean, guys running after you. I mean, everybody in the defense can run. And he stayed in there. He took a little pop afterwards.
It's Patrick Lowry who delivered the hit after. But it's an 11-yard gain and another first down for the Yellow Jackets. Second down, or first down and 10. They're at the 31. The toss sweep goes to P.J. Daniels. Good block on the corner. And Daniels fights his way up to the 35-yard line, actually the 36. It's a gain of 5. Andre Maddox led a wave of redshirt tacklers for NC State.
I like the way you phrased that. And that's what they do. You can't play defense for Chuck Amato unless you in your sleep, you wake up running. You run to the bathroom, and I mean, everything you do, you're in full speed because those guys get after you.
If you look at how they recruit, Doc, if you take size versus quickness, it looks like Chuck Amato's taking quickness any day.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, these guys are athletic. They play with great heart, courage. And, you know, it's just fun to watch them.
2nd and 5 for Georgia Tech. And off P.J. Daniels. And he's hit from behind there, and that is Maurice Charles, who got the first hit, and then Stephen Tulloch pulled him down. Charles, both players are true freshmen. Here's Charles from Miami, Florida. The announcers for this game are selected and compensated by Jefferson Pilot Sports. This broadcast is a copyright presentation. Any use of this broadcast without the express permission of the Atlantic Coast Conference and Jefferson Pilot Sports is prohibited. 3rd down and 3 for Georgia Tech. Curry split wide out to the right side, left side rather. Smith to the left. Lone setback is P.J. Daniels for Reggie Ball. 3-0 our score. NC State pass complete for the first down to Nate Curry, and it's out to the 43-yard line, a gain of 6. Greg Golden on the tackle.
Well, Nate has averaged a little over 11 yards a catch this season. You know, there are catches and then there are 3rd down receptions in my mind, and that's really how you create value for a team. And Nate ran a good route, ball right on the money, and once again, Reggie Ball, he's just growing up right before your eyes. The kid has game. See, I like it. His weight over his feet, comes back to the ball, meets it, and he's covered well once again by Greg Golden.
1st and 10, Georgia Tech moving out to their 43. Daniels the setback, ball, toss sweep to Daniels over midfield, and he's brought down there by Pollard and Graham. Roger Pollard in on the tackle with Stephen Tulloch at the 49-yard line. It's going to be a gain of 7 and another first down.
And it all happens so quickly. Levon Thomas, wide receiver, is going to get a real nice block here. Once again, speed pays dividends. If he gets right over that, he's out of there. But, you know, those red shirts are in constant motion. And that time, once again, Pat Thomas is in on the play.
Gain of 8 on the play officially now. Makes it 2nd down and 2. In Wolfpack territory, Daniels, another first down. Solid tackle-to-tackle play by the Yellow Jackets. Graham and Pollard and Lowry are in, or actually that's Lowry in on the tackle. And Georgia Tech just churns up some real estate between the tackles.
Boy, you talking about walking the dog. Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you get right in the middle of that, and you get a good push, and you take people backwards, and that creates a nice seam for a running back.
Chan Gailey watching his young club move up the field. They survive the fumbled punt for a field goal. And now they're in Wolfpack territory again. First excursion resulted in a missed field goal. All along, Smith, touchdown, Georgia Tech. The first touchdown reception of the season for Jonathan Smith.
Boy, Smith runs a real good route. There's an out, and he takes it up. And he got Golden to bite. And the ball's a little late, but it made it there. And when you can score following a turnover offensively, again, that's a character builder.
Here's the kick by Burnett, and it is good. Reggie Ball connects upstairs. It's his 3rd touchdown pass of the season and puts Georgia Tech on the board ahead of NC State 7-3. Let's look at it again.
It all starts up front, Steve, as always. Good pass protection. Little leak at the end. Riley picked it up, and this is just the way you like it, man, in practice. Jonathan Smith runs a nice little out and up.
That's his 8th career touchdown reception, but his first of the season. And he has 123 career catches for Georgia Tech. Number 5 in Georgia Tech history. Here's the kick. It's going to be fielded by Tremaine Hall at the 15. He follows Lamont Reed's block and is brought down by Gaston at the 34-yard line, 33-yard line. Joe Gaston, the true freshman, and that's where NC State will start 1st and 10. Our scoring drive here, Smith's 42-yard reception capped a 7-play, 80-yard march in 3:18. It started at the Georgia Tech 20 after the touchback. So both teams on the board.
You talk about give your defense a jolt.
Yeah.
When you put points in the board, say, hey, guys, we put you in a bad situation before our teams. Now we make it up.
Potchery in motion on 1st and 10 at the 32 for Phillip Rivers. Inside handoff, Tremaine Hall. The power is stacked to that side, and Hall fights tackles away out to the 40-yard line, and it's going to be an 8-yard gain. Let's take a look at our Aaron scoreboard. Virginia Tech, their final year in the Big East, 21-7 over Rutgers. Northwestern, stunning Minnesota in the Big Ten this afternoon.
Goodness.
And Ole Miss opens with a field goal over Florida in the Swamp. 2nd down and 3 officially now to mark a 7-yard gain.
It's hard to keep young people focused, man, following a big win or a near win. You know, when you're 18, 19 years old and everybody patting you on your back.
Well, you can ask Clemson, Georgia Tech after the Clemson game. Here's Tremaine Hall, and he is flattened by Dewan Landry. I believe he'll be shy of the 1st down by a yard to the 41-yard line. It's a gain of 2.
Doesn't take Tremaine Hall too long to get from 0 to 60, does it?
No, it doesn't.
I mean, this guy.
And they waited a long time for him.
Yes.
He had eligibility problems because of the Florida State high school exam that he didn't take, and then there was a question by the ACC as to whether or not he should have 2 or 3 years in junior college. But he's been worth waiting for. Tremaine Hall in his sophomore season, technically, but his first season really in competition for the Wolfpack. Third down and 1. Let's go to Mike Hogwood with our Alltel sideline connection.
Thank you, Steve. You were just talking about Tremaine Hall. Can you imagine the heartbreak of this young man out of Florida, highly recruited? Really, he did nothing wrong. It was a mix-up in his transcript, but he has survived it all and now really feels a part of this NC State team. And, is he contributing here in the first quarter for the Wolfpack offense?
Chuck Amato says this kid could have gone a lot of other places after those problems, but he decided to stick with NC State, and neither side's been solved. 3rd and a foot for the Wolfpack. They trail here 7-3. Back to throw. Rivers to the flats. No! Through Cotchery's hands with Reuben Houston in pursuit.
Well, if you're the Wolfpack, you're never disappointed if you put the ball in the hands of 2 of your seniors. Premier players who go out and on that play just don't connect. But I like the call. I like the play.
Jonathan Smith back in punt formation. Here's the play again.
Josh Brown had a real nice block from his running back position, gave him room, and Phillip just got a little high with it.
Austin Herbert with a nice punt. He averages 41. Back to the 15. Smith, who just scored a touchdown, dodges tacklers and gets flattened from behind. On the tackle is Chance Moyer. For the most up-to-date information on the 2003-2004 Atlantic Coast Conference basketball season, look for the long-standing authority on college basketball, Street & Smith's. Pick up your copy of the all-new, fact-filled Street & Smith's ACC preview, now available at newsstands throughout the South. It'll be a great ACC basketball season. The return of Roy Williams.
Oh, yeah, hooping it up, man, in Chapel Hill.
Oh, yeah.
Well, how about that Smith, man? He's doing it all now.
Yep, nice return.
You start to get to feel it. You score a touchdown, then you want to run back and punt.
They almost broke it out to the 35-yard line. 1st and 10, Georgia Tech. Here's P.J. Daniels. That was after the 44-yard punt by Austin Herbert. Out to the 38-yard line. Gain of about 3, and Dwayne Herndon comes in to make the tackle for NC State, but we have a flag on the play. Ron Cherry with the call.
There's no foul on the play. No foul. The formation was legal.
There's a question as to whether or not Georgia Tech had enough players at the line of scrimmage, or maybe too much. But that was solved. Chan Gailey's team now looking at a 2nd down and 8. This is the first of 6 straight ACC games for Georgia Tech after their valiant come-from-behind overtime win at Vanderbilt. A puzzling loss to Clemson, a heartbreaking loss to Florida State, following a rousing win against Auburn. Here's Ball, the pitch on the ground. Daniels can't get there and does cover up. Freddie Autry-Lindsey was there in case he popped it out. But it's going to be a loss on the play of 7 yards to the 31-yard line. Ronaldo Moses was there to try to strip it out of the hands of Reggie Ball and may have caused the fumble.
We may look back on that play as a save of the day for Tech. It didn't have a good relationship in this, and that because of the pressure up front. Forced to Aaron pitch, and he just went out there like an octopus and swooped that ball back in.
So it's 3rd down and 14 from the 32. Dixon in the backfield. Ball back to throw. Has time. Steps up in the pocket. Guns complete. This is Smith again. At midfield and more. Victor Stevens brings him down at the NC State 44-yard line. It's a connection of 24 yards on the play and another Georgia Tech first down.
Well, the one thing I'm impressed with is, first of all, Nate Dorsey on the left side, giving you some pass pro. Okay, you like that. But the kid stepped up in the pocket. Any offensive lineman in the country will give you a high five, quarterback, if you step up in there. Let them guys put those pass rushes on the outside. Boy, this kid shows poise. Those are rocket right on the money. Good run after the catch.
Curry split wide to the bottom. Thomas split wide to the top. Play action fake, and the pass is complete to the tight end. Actually, it's going to be to P.J. Daniels, the running back, and he's brought down at the 36-yard line after an 8-yard gain. Freddie Autry-Lindsey in on the tackle for NC State.
There's so many different throws you have to have as to be a really good quarterback. He showed you on 3rd down and 10, they opened the ball game up, how you could put the rocket on it. Then he just stepped up in the pocket and made a nice throw. Then you've got to have the touch pass. I mean, this kid really has a lot of talent.
We are at the end of the first quarter of play. Each team's had a chance to score in this one. They've taken advantage of it. Georgia Tech leads at homecoming at the end of one, 7-3. Welcome back to Citgo's ACC football matchup of the week. It's Georgia Tech leading NC State 7-3. Steve Martin, Doc Walker, Mike Hogwood. And there's Chuck Amato, a concerned coach, because Georgia Tech has averaged 7 yards a play here in the first quarter. 2nd and 2. They won't get 7 this time. P.J. Daniels stacked up.
Coming under the turf.
Oh, I tell you what. There's the first quarter stats. Rushing yards, passing yards, Georgia Tech at 107. And Reggie Ball has gotten the better of things so far.
No doubt about it. Well, you know, the momentum is right now is in the white shirt. But the Wolfpack, you know, are fighting. And this game right now is evenly matched. I mean, they're slugging, they're making plays. A couple penalties have really been the difference in the turnover.
They've had 13 come from behind wins under the guidance of Chuck Amato in 4 seasons. 3 for 4 on 3rd down conversions. One of the reasons is they haven't had many long 3rd down situations today. There's the blitz, but here comes Daniels on the shovel pass, and he gets second effort out of the grasp of Oliver Hoyt, who had him for a loss, and then he surged ahead to the 32.
How often do we see the red shirts break the plane, you know, get behind, create the action, and it's just a great athletic move inside by Daniels. That ball was on the shoulder pad, you know, and he had the presence of mind to secure the football. The one thing that the Wolfpack, they do so well is they get inside penetration. They force the issue. If you're watching their stance, they get the 4-point stance their tackles do. And they don't get high. They keep leverage.
1st and 10, and Reggie Ball wants to look things over. And today's game is brought to you in part by GMC. Steve Martin, Doc Walker, Mike Hogwood here at Bobby Dodd Stadium, historic Grant Field in Atlanta. Home field for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets and one of the oldest forums of such a kind in Division I football. 1st and 10, Georgia Tech. They're at the NC State 32. Ball up to throw upstairs. Has a man open. Smith, but it's just out of his reach. Got beyond double coverage there by Graham and Golden. Smith's already caught a ball for a touchdown today of 42 yards.
Yeah, he needed to just finish through and run through that ball. Again, this is the only place that Reggie could place it. Keep it out of harm's way. Either my guy gets it or he goes out of bounds.
That's right.
Beautiful camera work upstairs. That's good stuff.
That's excellent stuff. Down Paul Poshi and Darius Williams come out. So 2nd down and 10. This is one of the longest down and distance situations that Georgia Tech's faced here, it seems, in the first half. 3 wideouts. Ball pitches to Daniels on the corner, but boy, Lamont Reed has said, no, this play's going nowhere. I'll take the blocker and the ball, and you both go down.
And you can always tell the kids to pay a little extra attention in film study.
Yeah.
You see lineup tendency down and distance, and he anticipated that play and ate it alive.
Lamont Reed out of Concord, North Carolina. He's a junior. Making the tackle. It's going to be a loss of 3 on the play, and 3rd and long for Georgia Tech. They are 4 of 5 on 3rd down conversion. Smith split wide left. In the slot, Bilbo. Curry is split wide right to the short side of the field. Thomas seemed to get a jump on the play. There's a flag down. Here comes Ball with the throw, and it is incomplete. Thrown behind the intended receiver, Curry, but there's a flag back. Thomas may have been in offsides.
That's a good no call in the secondary, because that cornerback has just as much right for the football as the receiver does.
Here's Ron Cherry.
Offside. Defense. It's a 5-yard penalty.
I tell you,
Replay to that.
I was watching Pat Thomas, and he was like in on Reggie Ball in a hurry, and I think he was probably the guilty party.
Well, that's the second penalty, the kind of penalty that coaches just, go nuts over.
Well, they had a blitz on too.
Yep.
They were sending 2
but they work on it. They work on that timing, and usually, they'll get it, and if you nail it just right, it could be the difference in a sack.
5-yard penalty makes it 3rd down and 8 at the 31 of NC State. Wolfpack will send 2 in addition to a 3-man rush. Ball looking in the middle, and it's incomplete, intended for Demarius Bilbo, who started this season as the starting quarterback in preseason drills.
Yeah, he predetermined where he wanted to go. And Bilbo was the guy he wanted to go to, but there were 3 red shirts in his area. And right down at the bottom of that, you had Jonathan Smith, who might have been able to pick you up a 1st down. But that's a lot to say, for a freshman. And here you watch Golden, who's looking and he's reading the quarterback, not playing the receiver on that case. And it happens. But yeah, you got to grow up. You got to bear with youth, especially when it's as talented as Reggie Ball.
Dan Burnett, who missed a 38-yarder, is on to attempt a 48-yarder. This would be the longest of his career. Prior to this, 45, the longest. Here it is. It's good. Dan Burnett nails the 48-yard field goal. And the Wolfpack, or rather the Yellow Jackets, tack on 3 more and lead 10-3. Back after this word from your local station. Georgia Tech on top here, 10-3, thanks to Dan Burnett's career-high 48-yard field goal. Here's Burnett to kick it off as the Yellow Jackets take a 7-point lead. There's the squib kick. Cotre Jackson handles.
Oh, that's trouble.
And Georgia Tech has it. Georgia Tech recovers the ball at the 32-yard line. Reese recovers. And the Yellow Jackets have another chance. The squib kick by Burnett worked.
Looked like a lob wedge. I thought, what is he doing with that? Well, it worked out just well. It's very difficult if you're not accustomed to feeling the kickoff. It gets away from him. That's an outstanding heads-up recovery on the part of State. And as you mentioned it, Reese comes in and makes the hands. Watch the hands in there.
Look how close he was to out of bounds.
Stay in bounds, man.
Because that ball goes out of bounds, it's State ball. But it stays with Georgia Tech, and their offense is back out on the football field. 1st and 10 at the NC State 31-yard line. Reggie Ball at the controls. Back to throw, the pass complete to Curry. And he's got a 1st down at the 21-yard line of NC State. A hookup of 11 yards.
NC State, on their fortune from the Georgia Tech turnover, they ended up with a field goal. And now Ball and company are trying to do better than that. Slant, right on the money, good timing route, good coverage. Good execution on the part of the Yellow Jackets.
Another first down at the 21-yard line. Curry split wide to the top. Smith to the bottom. Ball back to throw. Pass is complete. This one is to P.J. Daniels. And he's brought down. He insists his knee never touched the ground, but the officials blew the play dead at the 15. Gain of 6. Freddie Autry-Lindsay in on the tackle. That's the second pass he's caught today.
P.J. Daniels. You can tell this kid, man, he's an achiever. Blue collar. Here he gets the grab, tries to change his direction, and it's, you know, ill-fated against the red shirts. Because the Wolfpack, one thing you can guarantee, they're in pursuit.
Georgia Tech trying to cash in here on a fumble recovery after the kickoff. Here is Daniels. He's pushing ahead for the first down. We have a flag on the play, however. He's down to the 9-yard line. A tackle made by Ronaldo Moses and Troy Graham. And it's going to be against Georgia Tech. Ron Cherry with the call. This will back up the Yellow Jackets a little bit.
Holding on the offense. That's a 10-yard penalty from the spotted foul. We'll replay the down.
So it pushes the ball back to the 22-yard line and brings up a second down and 11. Third down and 11.
A lot of people say, well, you got a holding call. The offensive lineman held. And I always say a defensive lineman earns a hold. You know, you earned a hold because you usually beat a guy and force the guy to hold you. So you have to give the defense a lot of credit.
Second down now and 11. All at the 21. Darius Williams in motion. Ball looking left. Pass is complete to Curry inside the 10 down to the 7-yard line. Greg Golden on the touchdown saving tackle. It's going to be good for a first down at the 7.
Steve, I get the feeling that Nate Curry is going to catch one of these and take it to the house. I mean, this kid coming off the ball well. Reggie Ball puts the ball. I mean, it's just right on the money. When you don't have to break stride as a receiver, man, that increases your chances of breaking a big one. He's feeling it.
He sat out 2 years because of injuries. He was a promising true freshman here at Georgia Tech, but he's back to continue here as a junior. He's in the slot now to the top side on 1st and goal from the 7. Reggie Ball's been masterful here in the first half. Pass is incomplete, intended for Smith. Lamont Reed covering on the tackle.
Steve, they run a stack, which gives you an ability to get the trailer right out in the flat, but he was late with the pass. If you get it early, you can catch and turn and get right in the end zone.
They have shown that formation a lot. They open with it.
And now they can move to it with motion. A number of different things you can do. Here you see he'll come in there. He's going to take it out. And gets an opportunity to see he's late. If the ball's there, you can catch and turn and get right at the pylon.
But you saw what Curry did as the up man in that stack. He took it back into the end zone. Second down and goal. Daniels alone setback. Curry to the bottom. Smith to the top. Darius Williams in motion. Ball. Will run it himself. Breaks a tackle and gets to the 3. Andre Maddox made sure he didn't score.
Man, Maddox said the buck stops or the jacket stops here. Oh, man. This Maddox, this kid is so dependable. Against most people in the country, that's a touchdown.
Yep.
And he comes in and he kills the deal.
Third and goal.
Stunning up front. NC State actually ran a little X game up front. They ran themselves out of the play. That happens sometimes.
Yep.
Sometimes you call it right, you run into it. Sometimes you don't.
Third and goal. Both ends in tight. In a stack formation, play action. Ball has a wide open path. Now it closes down. Maddox in pursuit, and Reed brings it out. He fumbled the ball out of bounds, but it's going to be a loss back to the 8-yard line. And the Tech field goal kicking unit is on for the third time today.
That's the second example we've had in this ball game of the Wolfpack pursuit. You said it. He's open. He's got it.
Yeah.
And it was momentarily.
And then it shut down.
And all of a sudden, those 4.5s and 4.6s and 4.5s,
Yeah.
they start closing in on you, brother, and it's over.
The ball comes to the sidelines and yields to Dan Burnett, who is on for his 3rd field goal attempt of the day. He missed his first attempt at 38 yards, but atoned for that with a career-high 48-yard or career-long 48-yard kick. This one will be of 26 yards out of the hold of Hal Higgins. Kick is up. The line drive shot is good. And Georgia Tech cashes in on an NC State fumble on a kickoff. Reggie Ball is a freshman. Philip Rivers has always had it in his 4 years at NC State. There's the scoring drive. Again, special teams setting it up. Each team's special team has set up a score, both field goals, with recoveries of either a punt or a kickoff. That was a kickoff recovery on a fumble by NC State. And Burnett punched in his 2nd field goal of the day. He's 2 for 3.
Just think how many outstanding freshmen we've had a chance to see. As Mike Hogwood pointed out, T.A. McClendon, he broke in on the scene. Philip Rivers, as he broke in. So I really think that Reggie Ball's competing today with Rivers.
Lamont Reed has the ball at the 5. Gets to the left sideline. Gains some valuable running room, and it's a nice return for NC State. Now, they saying he stepped out back further there at the 38-yard line. They're going to mark him out at the 37.
He's mad at himself.
Yeah. Football fans, register for your chance to win $1 million in the Bell South Kick for a Million contest. One lucky fan will be given the opportunity to kick for $1 million during halftime of the 2004 Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl here in Atlanta, January 2nd. Log on to jpsports.com or register, and then start practicing your field goals. Bell South, listening, answering.
Just think, that person, that lucky winner, will get a chance to feel like Mike Hogwood. Mike lives that way as a millionaire.
Oh, he does. Exactly. That's petty cash for him. Here's the pass complete to Washington, his first reception of the day. And he's marked out of bounds at the 45-yard line. It's a gain of 8 yards. Jonathan Cox came in on the tackle. It's going to be his first of the day. Here's Philip Rivers on the afternoon. A rather normal 6 of 9, 53 yards.
But he hasn't, he's been throwing underneath. He's going to go over the top now.
Yeah.
So just wait on it. They'll work to get a big one.
Well, this could be an opportunity here, Doc. At 2nd and 2, he brings Clark and Cotchery and sends him over to the wide side of the field along with Tremaine Hall, and has Richard Washington to the short side. 4 wide outs for Philip Rivers on 2nd and 2. There's the snap. He's looking at those 3 wides, and he's got Clark completed midfield for a first down, and brought down there by Houston and Parker. Reuben Houston and
Houston did a noble deed. You hold on and you stop that progress.
Exactly. Both coaches mentioned to us in their teleconferences that they can make the catch, but no yards.
No more. Because NC State, they're just waiting to get you out in space so they can turn on the jets. And Georgia Tech has shown they've got guys that can do the same thing.
8-yard gain on the play brings them into Georgia Tech territory at the 47-yard line. Cotchery and Clark split wide to the right side, left side rather. That's the wide side of the field. Rivers has some time. Pass incomplete, intended for Washington. Covering on the play, Jonathan Cox.
You see, now Phillips talking to him now because he wants to make an adjustment in the routes. Clearly, they weren't where he thought they'd be. And that's where the senior leadership comes in. Here you see Washington. This kid has a lot of talent. And maybe he wanted him a little deeper. That we don't know, but we do know that there was some encouragement in on that correction.
That's right. 2nd down and 10. There's Rivers, the veteran from Athens, Alabama. 2nd down and 10 yards. Georgia Tech up by 10. Here's Rivers with time. Pass complete. That's Tremaine Hall. Heads for the corner and a block. Heads down the sideline. Can he walk the tightrope? He dropped out of bounds. They mark him out at the 16-yard line. But it's a gain of 31 on the play, and a hookup from Philip Rivers to Tremaine Hall.
Now the quarterback and receiver, they'll get a lot of pub, and deservedly so. Good operation. But the big fellas up here, this is what makes it go. Let's show you why now. Left side, McKeon, he'll come out the little crossing game, and there's Leroy Harris. Harris picks up the game. That allows Rivers, who steps up aptly, and then you see a guy with jet. Playmaker on the loose.
Boy, Leroy Harris had himself a week against North Carolina a week ago. He had 9 what they call Raleigh railroads.
Love
when
those.
you move your defensive target 5 yards or more.
Railroad, baby. And it leads in railroads, too. I mean, he's got 20 railroads coming into this ball game.
He's the conductor. Here's Richard Washington, and he's hauled down by Darryl Smith. The middle linebacker for Georgia Tech, Darryl Smith, with a great individual play, a senior from Albany, Georgia.
All right, Ricky Fowler for NC State. Ricky Fowler, 76 here. Come on, Telly. Let's see, he comes out and doesn't quite get there.
Nope.
And that's the speed of Darryl Smith. We talk a lot about speed with the red shirts. Those Yellow Jackets have some guys that can run as well.
Loss of a yard. 2nd down and 11. Washington and Cottrey to the wide side of the field. Clark does a slant in. Rivers gives it a look and now runs on his own. Ball down from behind Ke'Aaron Fox. And has the ball knocked out by Jonathan Cox with the play blown dead at the 17-yard line. No gain on the play for Phillip Rivers and the Wolfpack. He's had a tough time this afternoon with the Georgia Tech defense.
Yeah, you know, he's a leader. Here's a guy, in my opinion, you know, a legitimate Heisman candidate. And I'm sure that Noel Mazzone, his coordinator, wants him to just get out of bounds. We understand you're tough. We know what, you know, you can do this, but do not take those unnecessary hits on the sideline. Get out of bounds. Yeah, buddy.
Sakamoto would love to have 4 more years of Phillip Rivers. 3rd down and 9. Tech up by 10. Wolfpack in Georgia Tech territory. Rivers back to throw, has time, pass complete, touchdown! Jericho Cotchery.
Boy, that is strong.
A laser strike.
Boy, Sean Locklear, right tackle on the offensive line. Great block at the point of attack. Created some space, and Rivers threw a dart.
Rivers pops his 74th career touchdown pass.
Yeah, they're picking it up. See, right inside there, boy, they're picking it up. That offensive line, you know, they're catching things on the move because Tech is sending a lot of people running games. Nice move coming open. Boy, you're talking 2 seniors there that are on top of their game.
Adam Kiker out of the hold of Chris Young. The point after is going to be good. And NC State closes to within a field goal. Jericho Cotchery picks up the catch as he gets the nice 17-yard touchdown pass from Phillip Rivers. Jericho Cotchery pulls in his 16th career touchdown for Phillip Rivers, his 74th career touchdown pass. And that makes it NC State trailing Georgia Tech 13-10. There's Cotchery sitting on the bench. This is his 3rd catch of the day. His 32nd consecutive game with a reception. 7-play drive, 63 yards. Cotchery the 15-yard score to cap it. Tremaine Hall with a big 31-yard pass and run play to help it out. Here is Kenny Scott. Scott eludes tacklers at midfield. Beats the kicker. He could be on his way if he doesn't run out of steam. And he's tripped up at the 10-yard line. Oh, my goodness. John Duraney just got enough of his ankle to prevent the score. A 90-yard return.
You talk about speed and gears. My. These young fellas can scoop. Scott read it well. And yet at this point I thought, well, you know, he's going to have a nice return. And then all of a sudden at that point, you think he's out of there. And you called it right. I think he stumbles just a bit.
Oh, and Duraney just got his foot, didn't he?
Just got it, man.
Oh, boy. It is 1st and goal just inside the 10. Reggie Ball. Play action. Looking down the middle of the field. Pollard has his shirt. And Lowry has the rest of him, along with Alan Holloway. And he's brought down for about a 6-yard loss to the 16.
And that's one thing, again, as a freshman, you just go out and you play. But you'll learn, you lose momentum. You don't give up a sack following a big return of good play for your squad. You throw it up in the stands. Throw it to the tuba.
There's Kenny Scott, the true freshman. Oh, what a return. 90 yards. If I had only not stumbled, he said, I would have made it all the way. That gave Delaney just enough. Got a timeout on the field here. Taken by Georgia Tech. They've got one remaining.
Now, you know the fellas are going to give him all kind of grief all week. They'll say he got caught.
Well, you know, over the years, the Yellow Jackets have made some fantastic plays, just like Kenny Scott made. Back in 1986, Jerry Mays was proving that there was a place for the little guy on the football field. He rushed for 188 yards against the Pack, 79 on this dash to the end zone. In that same game, split end and special team player Gary Lee returned a kickoff 99 yards, and he would score.
And our Mike Hogwood was there.
That's right. Georgia Tech with the win, 59-21. Then in 1989, it was the defense making the big play. Safety Ken Swilling intercepted Shane Montgomery. He would race 95 yards to the end zone, but it would be to no avail as NC State would prevail at home by 10. Big plays have punctuated this series between Georgia Tech and NC State in its 23rd renewal. Georgia Tech has won 14. NC State has won 8. But NC State has not won in Atlanta since 1988. Let's take a look at our Aaron scoreboard. Virginia Tech piling on Rutgers, 28-7 in the second. Boy, did Miami have a close call the other night with West Virginia. Minnesota now has taken charge over Northwestern, as has Florida over Ole Miss in the second down in Gainesville.
And Winslow's catch on third down was incredible.
That was something. Here comes the pass by Ball. It is complete to Jonathan Smith. Not for much yardage, however. Good tackle made on the play by Devontae Edwards. Edwards, a converted wide receiver out of Chapel Hill, North Carolina, making the stop and making sure there was no further gain on the play.
What you look for defensively is enthusiasm. Even though you had a bad break or a turnover, you give up a big run, you want your defensive unit to come in, put the fire out. And putting the fire out, if you settle for 3 now, it's a victory for the Wolfpack.
Oh, especially after that 90-yard return.
They'll put them on the 10-yard line.
Yep. They're back at the 13 now. It is 3rd and goal. They cannot get a first down. Here's Ball to throw. Ball tipped, but it is caught by Demarius Bilbo at the 8-yard line. That ball was tipped.
Yeah,
looked
good
like
hands.
Maddox on the tackle.
And by contrast, if you're the Yellow Jackets, you want to put your foot right on their neck and put it in there, man. Get the score and try to dominate.
Let's see if it was tipped, Doc.
Yep. I think you call it right. Nose goes down. Still good catch. Good coverage.
Good catch.
There's our guy Maddox. I mean, he's everywhere.
Yes, he is. And now Dan Burnett on for his 4th attempt of the day. He's 2 for 3, including a career long 48 yards. This one, a chip shot, if you will, from 25. Out of the hold of Hal Higgins. There's the kick. Wedged in there and good. Georgia Tech advances their lead to 6. A 3rd field goal of the day from Dan Burnett. And the Wolfpack now find themselves 6 in the hole to Georgia Tech. Coming up at halftime, well, stay with us because Mike Hogwood's got lots of stuff.
Yeah, we do, Steve, and I think we're all going to need to take a deep breath at halftime. What a game this has been here in the first half. But we'll talk to both coaches about the adjustments they're going to make as they get ready for the second half. We'll have highlights and stats of this first half. We'll also look back in history in the ACC with our ACC moment. That and a lot more coming up at halftime, but still a lot of football to be played here in this second quarter.
4:28, as a matter of fact. Chan Gailey's got to be happy with the way his young team has responded. Probably last week was the hangover week to the loss to Clemson. They got that out of their system. Chuck Amato is seeing his club struggle against a Georgia Tech team that has played very sound defense.
But I'll take Chuck's shot at it now because the road team, those field goals you end up paying for them.
Yeah.
When you have to settle for 3, invariably, and we've seen this over and over again, in the 4th quarter with about 5 minutes to go in the ball game, that ends up hurting you.
Yes, it does.
And so I think what State just did in holding Georgia Tech to 3 it could pay dividends for them. But I like the enthusiasm right now on the side of the Yellow Jackets. I mean, they've had a lot of momentum, but you got to cash that field position in for touchdowns, not field goals.
Burnett cashes in on the field goal to cap the 4-play drive of 10 yards, set up by Kenny Scott's 90-yard kickoff return. Worked by the special teams, winning in the kicking game. Both teams having their share of success. Squibb kick is fielded and taken there by Tremaine Hall. He gets it out to the 33-yard line. Chris Reese in on the tackle. Reese has already recovered a fumbled kickoff that set up another Dan Burnett field goal. 3 wide receivers to the wide side of the field. Jericho Cottrey on the outside shoulder. The 2 slot receivers are Brian Clark and Richard Washington. Rivers back to throw. Scrambles out of the pocket. Flag is thrown, and he'll get down at the 39-yard line. It's a gain of 5, but we may have a hold.
How did he feel that pressure on the backside?
Sherrod Williams in there on the pressure. It's amazing.
It's unbelievable. It's like he has eyes in the back of his head. There's no way he can pick that up physically. But yet he had the instincts to just kind of slide up out of the way and avoid, which would have been a terrible hit on the backside.
Here's Ron Cherry with the call.
Holding on the offense. That's a 10-yard penalty. We'll replay the down.
It's going to be on Leroy Harris, looks like.
Let's see if we can pick it up. Yeah, down at the bottom.
Yeah.
Well, you know, for an offensive lineman, if you can save your quarterback, I mean, you hold, you strangle, you do whatever you have to do.
Well, Phillip Rivers has certainly proved worth saving.
Absolutely, man. But you got to block with those feet, man.
1st and 20. Look at the 4 wideouts to the bottom of your screen as you see the penalty yards piling up in the Wolfpack. Now they'll break one out of that. Rivers, little bubble screen, and it is thrown out there on the corner to Washington, and NC State doesn't get much on it. Georgia Tech waiting for that. Reuben Houston gets in amongst the red shirts and knocks Washington to the field.
Yeah, big play by Reuben Houston. That setup, that formation, it just really put 2 or 3 offensive people out to block for you. And he was able to elude the obstructors and get in there and make a play.
Well, the Wolfpack going with today without T.A. McClendon for the 2nd straight week. And they're a different team. Chuck Amato admits, hey, we're much different offensively with T.A. McClendon in there.
Wow, he's so good. I mean, that takes a lot out of your offense.
Trey Jackson finds no running room. Georgia Tech shuts it down. They're number 3 in the ACC and number 25 nationally in rushing defense. And Kearon Fox and Garris Wilkinson said no room there. Brings up 3rd.
Key Fox and Smith, those 2 guys have just been sensational.
The key for Georgia Tech is being able to disguise the things that they're trying to do on defense. Make Phillip Rivers think one thing and execute another.
Coach Tanuna does a great job of making sure that his kids can keep up, pick up these defenses, and still do it 100 miles an hour.
Nobody in the backfield except Phillip Rivers. 5 wideouts and a timeout call. The play clock got down to 0, and he didn't make it in time. It's going to be a delay of game, but wait. Ron Cherry is saying he got the timeout. Now there's a flag down in the area where delay of game is called. Chan Gailey looking on. Ron Cherry discussing it with his crew. And what happened first? Was it Phillip Rivers' timeout or the delay of game call?
Prior to the timeout being taken, prior to the timeout, the 25-second clock expired. We have a delay of game on the offense.
Well, the delay of game call saves State a timeout here, but it pushes them back 5 more yards.
Yeah, well, you don't want it, especially with your senior quarterback.
Yeah.
But again, there's a lot of young puppies on that offensive line. And we talked about Cottrey, a great senior. Clark's a sophomore.
NC State will not be charged with a timeout.
Will not be charged with a timeout.
DJ Williams, sophomore. So they're still very young.
3rd down and 24 here, Doc. NC State 1 of 4 on 3rd downs, and they've had a bunch of real estate to cover when they've been in 3rd down this afternoon.
Keep my eye on Mr. Hall. That's one guy I wouldn't let go.
He's unnoticed. Bottom of your screen. Oh, bad snap. Rivers covers up. And this will bring the punt unit on back at the 15-yard line, a loss of 9. A good defensive series for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, as Austin Herbert has to come onto the field and punt it away.
No, they're just so competitive. I mean, that was a gift, but you got to be in a position to earn it, and they did it.
Austin Herbert hangs up a nice one. Smith with the catch and the fumble. It's a fumble. Who's got it? My, have we seen some strange reversals of fortune on special teams this afternoon, and this could be another. They're on-piling them. Who's got the football? Smith fumbled it as he turned around and wanted a reverse direction. And it's going to be Georgia Tech. Whoa, that was a close one. Jonathan Smith hung on. Cotrey Jackson was there. Look at this. Oh, Andre Maddox was right in the middle of it.
So he had it and lost it.
Georgia Tech has fumbled the ball, Doc, 4 times, but they've only lost 1 of them.
Now, you know, you're really playing Russian roulette. That's exactly what you're doing.
And I'll tell you what, you don't go to sleep when they go into kicking formation. Either field goals, PAT, even kickoff.
Well, we said it early on. I mean, this is an exciting team.
Instead, now Georgia Tech has excellent field position at their own 46. They have 1 timeout left with 1:44 to go. Pass is complete to Smith on a little slant in. Brought down by Graham and Tulloch.
Ball must have got kicked in the shin.
And Georgia Tech will hurry it up as the chains are remarked. Handoff goes to Daniels, and Daniels is wrestled down by Maurice Charles.
Well, there's nothing worse. It gets spiked on your big toe. Or your little toe, for that matter. Any toe.
Back to throw. Here's the pass complete. 3rd reception for P.J. Daniels, but there's not much running room there at the 37-yard line. Skyline of Atlanta, not much cloud cover today. A beautiful day in the mid-70s. City in mourning on the loss of the Braves last night, but they're trying to pick up their spirits, and Georgia Tech's doing a good job of it. Leading here 16-10 with 6 seconds left to go. Georgia Tech has used their final timeout. They're in NC State territory at the 37-yard line. And that man, Reggie Ball, has looked bigger than his 5'10" frame will allow this afternoon.
That's got to be the real exciting part about being a college football coach. So when you get these puppies in and they hit the ground running, and it's got to be painstaking. You need a lot of pressure, a lot of patience rather, but a lot of fun.
This is Georgia Tech's 9th 3rd down conversion. They're 3rd and 9. They're 4 of 8 so far today. Ball steps up in the pocket, guns. It is complete to Smith. Brought down for the 1st down at the 21-yard line. Troy Graham makes the saving tackle, his 3rd of the afternoon.
Now, you can't play the quarterback position and not be tough. And that kid stayed in the pocket. He waited. Good execution.
1st and 10. And wait, we've got a flag on the play. There's no flag. Yeah, I think he was trying to down it.
I think he was trying to fake it. It looked like it could have been a little fake and go.
Okay, here's Ron Cherry with the call.
Inadvertent whistle on the play. We're going to replay the down. Still 1st down.
Oh, buddy. Remember Dan Marino against the New York Jets.
48 seconds.
Fake it like you're going down, and you step back, and they were going for it. I guess they failed to tell Mr. Cherry before the game that was in their arsenal.
So there's no penalty on the play, but it is blown dead, and they're not allowed to continue. That's interesting.
I bet you that Georgia Tech sidelines is going to be buzzing. They got to be hot over that one.
Now they're going to mark that. They're not going to let any time go away from the clock either. They're going to mark it back to 48 seconds. So first down and 10 over again. That's a rare one. We've not seen that before. Here's Ball back to throw. And he almost came down. Now Thomas can't tackle him. And finally getting out of bounds. Garland Heath drove him out.
What an effort. That's like dancing through a landmine.
Well, Moses had the first shot at him, and he missed. Pat Thomas missed, and Heath was able to get him out of bounds.
Again, you got to rush this guy and stay in your lanes. I said, it was a void that was created, and then the rest of it, I mean, you don't coach this, and the kid just has it.
Heath with the stop. Second down and 7. Ball back to throw. Has the fade route. Curry out of bounds. And it is incomplete, but it stops the clock with 35 seconds left to go and brings up third down.
Greg Golden used his experience and that sidelines to his advantage.
4 possessions inside the 20 in the red zone, and they only have 3 field goals to show for it. As our director Dave Burchett said, they got to get 6 sometime. I don't think 6 points is a big enough lead on the Wolfpack. Not with Phillip Rivers back there. They're down in 7. Ball to throw. Williams in pursuit. Gets a block on the corner from Daniels. He'll fall across the green, complete. Jonathan Smith down to the 5-yard line. A 13-yard hookup gives Georgia Tech first and goal at the 5. Victor Stevens and James Martin come up with a tackle. Georgia Tech with no timeouts. They have to hurry to the line and get reset. Clock is stopped at 24. And this time Reggie Ball does down the football.
Well, we're going to get a chance to see P.J. Daniels do something that is fantastic. He gets 2 blocks on the play. And we're going to see if we can get this in. There's 1. And he's going to come. There's 2.
Oh.
He picks up a double. And you wonder why this guy earned a scholarship. I'll tell you what, you got a company out there. I want to hire that guy. I don't care where I put him in my company. I want him there because I know he'll be there when I get to work. And when I leave, he'll probably still be there.
P.J. Daniels from Houston, Texas, a sophomore. Second down and goal. Here's the flat pass, and it is touchdown, Georgia Tech. Nate Curry.
That is flat out nasty. This kid does not play like a freshman today. I mean, we may pull that Clemson tape out and talk about it. Now you watch it. It all starts at the move. You got to create some space off the line. Defensively, you got to try to find the ball. He couldn't. To stretch out the ball is right where it had to be. Good catch and score for the Yellow Jackets.
Nate Curry with his first touchdown catch of the season and his 3rd of his career. Burnett on for the point after. Kick is up. No good. Wide right. Adventures in the special teams play this afternoon. Keeps us on the edge of our seats. Burnett has hit 3 field goals this afternoon. Misses the point after.
Boy, look at this fade route. This ball is up in the air, and it is absolutely where it had to be. And Nate Curry went out and got it.
And Lamont Reed at such a disadvantage, just not enough real estate to cover.
Yeah, that offensive line once again did its job. Nothing happens without some people up front paying the price.
The fade route again, second touchdown pass of the day by Reggie Ball, and look, not much margin of error there, but a good catch by Nate Curry, the junior out of Miami. Lamont Reed hoping for a different verdict, but it just couldn't be. He did not get enough room to turn around and see the ball. Georgia Tech 22-10, 15 seconds remaining. Now, Wolfpack have 2 timeouts remaining here. And depending on the type of return that they get, and you never know.
Well, the ball's been we're making a return, run all the way back. You've had fumbles. We've had it all.
We've had it
right
all.
Now, special teams.
They've gone on to special teams.
But I'll say one thing. That man we're watching, Phillip Rivers, there's no panic.
No.
I mean, they know they've got the talent to get themselves right back in a position to win a ball game.
Reed and Hall are back deep to receive. Keep an eye at the upbacks, too, T.J. Williams and Cotrey Jackson, because Burnett has not been very deep with his kicks today. 9 plays, 55 yards on the march, and the final 5 a fade route to Nate Curry. And it took him 1 minute and 29 to do it. There's the onside or squib kick.
That's a live run.
Oh, it's adventure now. And Reed picks it up and goes. But boy, did they eat up some time on that. It stops the clock with 5 seconds. There was 10 seconds on the clock. Kenny Scott makes the tackle. There's a little fracas after. Three NC State receivers handle that ball at one-time run-up.
Tell you what, Dave Wilson, who works on a lot of special teams for the Yellow Jackets, he's going to have a long film study session on Monday.
So it'll be first down and 5 seconds left to go. Even though NC State has 2 timeouts, they won't be able to get much done here. Now, I'd say won't be able to get much, but what they do get done could be big.
There you go. Go back and see LSU. We're talking to LSU. Last week, Tennessee, Florida.
Here's the pass. It is complete to Tremaine Hall, and he is brought down at the 38-yard line, and the first half will be done. But we've had 32 points put on the board, 22 by Georgia Tech, 10 by the NC State Wolfpack. You have to laud the play of the Georgia Tech defense. They've kind of kept Phillip Rivers on his heels most of the day. And Georgia Tech's true freshman quarterback, Reggie Ball, has had himself a wonderful first half here before a sun-splashed crowd at Georgia Tech. It is homecoming, and they are enjoying what they're seeing out of this young Yellow Jacket team right now. This place has been a tough place for NC State to play. They've not won in 15 years, and of course, they'd love to have that guy, number 44, T.A. McClendon, but his hamstring still 75% completely healthy, but not enough yet for Chuck Amato to take a chance. Or maybe will he have to put him in?
Well, he's a difference maker. You can believe me that if 44 in red was on the field, it'd be a different outcome to this point.
Oh, definitely. Chuck Amato is still talking things over with the officials at the other end of the field, and now he's coming off the field to talk to his team as the Georgia Tech band takes its position on the football field. But the crowd here with great apprehension. The Yellow Jackets here in the first half have done a pretty good job. 2 touchdown passes from Reggie Ball, one to Jonathan Smith, the other goes to Nate Curry, and that's where Georgia Tech has the lead by 12. But standing by with Chuck Amato is our Mike Hogwood.
Coach, 22-10. What adjustments you need to make here at halftime?
But we gotta stop messing up in the kicking game. The kicking game is killing us. It's that simple. The kicking game.
At the bottom line, you're still within 2 scores.
Well, I mean, the kicking game, we've got to come out the second half, and we've got to take the opening drive. We get the ball, and we've got to do something with it.
All right, that's Chuck Amato headed to the locker room, and as you said, the kicking game has not gone well at all for NC State. They trail here on the road in Atlanta. Georgia Tech leads the Wolfpack 22-10.
Sitting in and watching this one, and so far in our Citgo ACC game of the week, it's been Georgia Tech 22-10 in a wild game that's seen mistakes on special teams. It's seen some fine play, especially from Reggie Ball, who has 2 touchdown passes here in this game early on, and fine play by the Georgia Tech defense, which has limited NC State to 5 first downs in this first half. Typically a team that averages 27 first downs in a ball game. Phillip Rivers has been in this position before 13 times in Chuck Amato's 29 wins as head coach of the Wolfpack. Rivers and the Wolfpack have come from behind to win, and if they do so today, it'll be their first win in Atlanta since 1988, and Phillip Rivers was in first grade when that happened. Chuck Amato very well aware of that. Now, as Georgia Tech came out on the field, Chan Gailey talked to our Mike Hogwood. Mike, what did Coach Gailey have to say about the Yellow Jackets' effort in the first half?
Well, he said he was happy with the effort, but he's disappointed in their play in the red zone. He says there's 2 things they got to do to win the game in the second half. They have got to score in the red zone touchdowns, and they've got to keep State from making a big play.
Well, Doc talked about that, and eventually the going for the field goal and having to settle for field goals despite being in the red zone might come back to haunt you, especially with a team that can score 6 as quickly as NC State.
No, that's the thing the NC State brings to the table. What they've got to go overcome is a bit of their pass. They're 0-2 when trailing at the half. And that seems kind of strange, but if we saw the Ohio State game, I think that was their ball game.
Well, remember when the team gathered around the end zone just after pregame warm-ups, Philip Rivers talked about the time of day. He said, no matter what time we play, we've got to be ready. This is their third noontime game. They're 0-2 in games they've started at noon. With the ball, Lamont Reed, he turns the corner. And he's wrestled down there by LeVar Thomas. And it's going to be a face mask penalty to boot, so NC State's going to get some excellent field position to start the second half. Both coaches have reason to be concerned about their kicking game.
Well, you can't ask for any better field position.
Personal foul. Face mask. 15 yards. First down.
Yeah, that's dangerous, man. If you don't go out intentionally to do it, but once you do engage, you got to disengage, man. You can really hurt a guy.
LeVar Thomas, the guilty party that time, but you know something, that might they got 15 yards. That might have, well, he probably would have gotten that had Thomas not pulled the face mask down. But here's Philip Rivers now on 1st and 10, excellent field position at the Georgia Tech 45. Nobody in the backfield except Rivers. 3-5 wide outs. Georgia Tech with a blitz on. Reese comes in and gets him from the strong safety position. Chris Reese has a fumble recovery on a kickoff return that set up a field goal and a big tackle on a sack there.
Junkyard dog. When the guy comes in, you can use him in so many different situations because he's tough. 210 pounds, 6-footer, and understands how to finish. Now that's how you make up for some shady work on your return team.
Second sack of the day for Georgia Tech. It is 2nd down and 15. Here comes a handoff. Tremaine Hall follows Ricky Fowler's block, but a lot of Yellow Jackets in pursuit. Darrell Smith, one of them. Also in on the tackle is Jonathan Cox, and Key Fox also making a stop there. No gain on the play, brings up 3rd and 15. Wolfpack have been 3rd and long a lot this afternoon, Doug. They are 1 of 5 on 3rd down.
Again, Cotchery's their guy, and you're going to have to give him an opportunity.
There's John Tenuta. He's done a masterful job against a team that normally converts 48 of its 3rd down conversions. 48%. They're 1 for 5 today. 4 wide outs. Rivers, 3-step drop, pass complete. Brian Clark, and he's got the 1st down. Out of bounds at the 33-yard line. It's a gain of 17 on the play. Philip Rivers is good money on 3rd down.
Well, he's good money, and he can push the ball downfield. That's the point I tried to make at halftime. You know, you can dink and dunk, and those things, they replace the running game. I understand that. But when you've got this kind of talent on the edge, you have to be aggressive downfield, and that's a great example of it.
NC State has outscored opponents in the second half, 99-60. Tech is obliged at 54-21. Here is Josh Brown on the sweep, and Georgia Tech is there. One of the best rush defenses in the ACC and 21st in the country. Tackle made by Aether Brown. And also Mansfield Rotto looked pretty good on that play, the true freshman from Mansfield, Georgia.
Well, we've mentioned a lot of freshmen in this ball game, which bodes well for the ACC conference as it continues to get premium talent all over the country.
And is about to expand next year by 2 more teams. A lot of talk this week about the scheduling meeting that the conference held at Charlottesville, Virginia, as to how that's going to turn out next year when Virginia Tech and Miami join the conference.
Be a lot of fun, I'll tell you that.
It is going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to be in the middle of it here. Our Citgo ACC game of the week. 2nd down and 11 on the loss of 1 by Josh Brown. NC State here down by 12. Rivers steps up, fires to Brown, complete in the flat, and he's driven out of bounds there by Jonathan Cox, a senior from Chicago, who makes his 3rd stop of the afternoon at the 30-yard line, a gain of 4. Georgia Tech coming into this ball game For the best deals on cars, trucks, and SUVs, visit your local Toyota dealer today. Georgia Tech 2-3, 0-2 in the ACC. They can't afford many more losses, and they're playing like it. 3rd down and 7. NC State down here by 12. They're at the Georgia Tech 30. Here is Rivers to pass. It is complete to Brian Clark. Shakes off one tackler and is driven out of bounds at the 12-yard line. Gain of 18 on the play. Dennis Davis saves the touchdown.
Once again, Reuben Houston, a guy who has made some plays today, but NC State has done a good job of getting him out in space. And there it is, just great run by Clark, 6'3", 198-pounder, and he just sheds it and is able to pick up some yards after the catch.
Second big catch by Clark in this drive that started at the Georgia Tech 45-yard line. Washington and Cotchery are split to the wide side. That's Cotchery in motion on 1st and 10 at the 12. Rivers steps up, shakes off a tackler, but can't shake off number 94, Travis Parker, who puts him down heavily. The forward progress mark to the 14-yard line. It'll be a loss of 2 on the play.
Oh, Parker's having a ball game. Defensive lineman, when you can get in and get a tackle for a loss, a sack. This time he goes with flow. Good recognition of where the quarterback was trying to set up. And you can't hold blocks forever.
2nd down and 11. NC State trying to convert in the red zone here. They got good field position, and now we got a timeout call.
Well, they're down to no more time clock.
And then a flag is thrown.
On the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty.
Second time that's happened this afternoon to the Wolfpack. Chuck Amato again claiming that the Wolfpack called timeout before that happened.
Yeah, but now, buddy, they're costly. You know, you can shoot one away in the first half. You pay for these in the second.
Exactly. And moves you 5 yards back to the 16-yard line. Well, actually, the 18-yard line. There's 2nd and 16 now at the 18.
And I really believe in the red zone. It's not how fancy you are. It's how well you execute, and is my guy just better than yours?
Clark is the receiver to the top side. The slot man is Cotchery. Rivers dumps it out to Tremaine Hall. Hall with running room at the 10, down to the 5, and gets down close to the first down. Tackled by Chris Reese at the 3-yard line. He's going to be a yard short. 15-yard gain on the play.
Great design. You put Cotchery out, and you get this guy Hall, who again in space is so quick and so elusive. He makes one guy miss. You get 2 blocks out of the flank, and all of a sudden you're in a great scoring position. Here we watch. You have to be unselfish. Look at Cotchery outside, doing his job.
And with D.A. McClendon out today, that in essence is their ground game.
Sir. There you go. A lot of ways you can get to it.
3rd down and 1. Potre Jackson moves into the fullback spot. Here comes Rivers. Back to throw. Pass complete. No! T.J. Williams can't hang on. Butler covering on the play, but that one was right in the midst of backup tight end T.J. Williams.
Well, you're not going to find too many tight ends that don't cash in when they get down here in the red zone. It's just part of their nature. Good play action fake, sets up strong, throws it, and you're right. I mean, that's everything there but the catch.
Yep.
The thing about the Wolfpack, and if we watch this, they get in the red zone, and up until that point, they were trying to cash in for 7. So that's very fortunate for the Yellow Jackets.
They'll have to settle for 3 here out of the hold of Chris Young. This will be a 21-yard attempt by Adam Kiker, who hit a 41-yarder earlier in the game to put the first points in this game on the board. And his kick is good. Adam Kiker pulls NC State to within 9. Field goal kickers may determine the outcome here. Georgia Tech 22-13. Here's Phillip Rivers consulting with the coaches up top. His team having to settle for a field goal instead of getting 6. T.A. McClendon, just a spectator to this action this afternoon. He pleaded with Dick Portee to get a chance to get into this game. Tried it pre-game warm-ups. They determined it wasn't going to be possible. This is Kenny Scott picking it up at the 3. He's returned 190. He takes it to the sideline and is trying to take it to the house, but he's going to be put out of bounds in front of the Georgia Tech bench at the 35-yard line. The tackle made by Patrick Lowry. And it's a 33-yard return. 10 plays, 42 yards, 30 of that 42 in the hands of Brian Clark in the form of 2 pass receptions. 4:27 to execute, and Adam Kiker kicks his second field goal of the afternoon of 21 yards.
Well, one thing I see, NC State going down covering the kick, they come to a complete halt. And then this guy's running right at him full speed. They got to run all the way through him.
Asa Zemefi is in the backfield. Ball is back to throw. The pass to Smith, incomplete, might have been tipped.
Oh, yeah, it was. Man, Williams, what an athletic play.
I'm telling you.
In the process of being knocked down, this kid sacrifices his body, sails out, and gets his paw on the ball.
You'll see a lot of him this season. Great defensive end, and just a true freshman. And pairing with another good defensive end, Ronaldo Moses. These guys are fun to watch.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to be quarterback, though, and see a lot of it.
No, they don't think it's fun. Front line of Alan Holloway, John McCargo, Ronaldo Moses, and Mario Williams facing off against Georgia Tech. Second down and 10. Ball back to throw. Tries to get out of the pocket and is wrestled down by Mario Williams. We just talked about him. He just delivered.
And what you can't lose sight in is that this kid is 6'7". And when you're that long and yet and still strong with his hands.
Look how he dwarfs the fullback.
It beats the block. I mean, and then finishes the job.
Yeah.
And rips his jersey out. I mean, this kid is, he's got it going.
He wants body parts. He wants fabric. He wants it all.
Wants it all, man. I wouldn't argue with him.
Georgia Tech 6 of 10 on third down, but none's been as long as this one. 3rd and 20. Ball steps up, gets out of the pocket, but gets tackled, and that time it's going to be John McCargo making sure that Reggie Ball goes no further. So NC State makes a statement with their defense as they'll force Hal Higgins to come on for the first punt today for Georgia Tech.
Their defensive line took that series over with activity. Now, clearly there was no one open as well. So that's overall, that's great defensive coverage.
Here's the kick by Higgins. And it goes out of bounds. NC State's going to pick up excellent field position. Higgins' kick is short, fielded at the 45-yard line. A 25-yard kick. And that's it for Georgia Tech. NC State playing on Georgia Tech's end of the field. We'll be right back. ACC football is brought to you in part by Toyota. Steve Martin, Doc Walker, Mike Hogwood here in Atlanta. Phillip Rivers with excellent field position. His team started at the Georgia Tech 45 the last time down, settled for a field goal. They'd like to get 6 this time. They're 9 points back. Here's Rivers to throw on 1st and 10. Comes out of the pocket, shovel pass to Cotrey Jackson, who wasn't looking. Boy, that doesn't happen too often.
Now, Cotrey went to block for his quarterback, and he had a little bit of room ahead of him.
He did. And then his quarterback decided, hey, I think I'll throw a shovel back.
Yeah. You get rid of this.
It's a good thing it went beyond the line of scrimmage.
Henderson chasing me down. I don't think I want the peel in my hand. And at this point, yeah. It was just really good defense. I mean, there was nobody open.
Second down, Rivers throws. Jackson this time hauls it down, but not much of a gain there. And Ke'Aaron Fox is in on the stop after a 2-yard gain. That's going to be his 6th tackle or 5th tackle of the day.
Well, Key Fox is showing you, again, his athletic ability. 225 pounds, 6'3", and you got to deal with a back in the open field.
3rd down.
Good catch by Jackson.
3rd down coming. NC State is 3 of 8 on 3rd down. 3rd and 9.
Wolfpack have got to push it and threaten the deep third.
Down 22-13. Here's Rivers to throw. Complete first down. Cotchery. Driven out of bounds by Dennis Davis. But it's a first down for the Wolfpack, who push the ball down to the Georgia Tech 29-yard line.
They're getting a lot of singles, but it's time to go yard now. You got to threaten people with the kind of talent they have, and that's a good example of it. Now, but they need it on first down.
Yeah.
Saving themselves. They're planning to do this the hard way.
I don't think NC State's been second and short very often. I remember one time they were the whole first half. It's Cotry on the day. 3 catches and a touchdown. He had 217 yards against North Carolina a week ago. Hand off on the sweep. Tremaine Hall tries to reverse direction. But Mansfield Rotto said, no, you're headed in the same way. You're going the right way. Right into my hands.
Boy, that is getting defensively, not allowing the offense to get to your body, and being strong enough to roll with that and not give up leverage. That's a great way to play the run. And Georgia Tech now is just stifling.
2nd down and 12, and Georgia Tech gets their nickel package in there. They bring Chris Reese into the ball game, showing blitz. 2nd down and 12, and they're growing. 2-man blitz with a 3-man front. Clark can't handle the ball. Reuben Houston in the area to cover. Looked to be right in his hands.
Yeah. Now you go back to DJ Williams, and one got away from him in the end zone. Now Clark, and so the Wolfpack become their own worst enemy. And you get good pass pro, and you get a guy open, but you don't cash in on it.
That was right in stride of Brian Hill. 3rd down and 12.
But the beauty of offense, because you only have to have one big play out of 3 to keep it alive.
Rivers has had one already the second half. Trying to take advantage of the short field. Rivers has time. Gets out of the pocket. Can he find anybody? He does. Washington complete. Washington still short of the first down, but let's see what they give him for the spot. I think they're going to give it to him.
I don't think so.
The head linesmen seem to be coming in inside the 19-yard line. Butler on the tackle. It is a gain of at least 11.
Washington makes the decision. We'll find out. I mean, you do have those bifocals you were using. I'm going on natural, so we'll see.
Doc, you're at an age when you need the bifocals now.
You think so?
I think, well, that's what I use. I'm older than you are. I'm old as dirt.
Really? You were right.
There you go.
I see.
Want mine?
No.
He got, I thought he got a generous spot when he was twirled around. But a good gain by Washington, gets the first down. NC State now down in the 4-down zone inside the 20.
Well, you can never have too many playmakers on your offense. At Washington, and we've talked a lot about, what Hall brings to this offense.
They have to offset what they missed from T.A. McClendon. And also, they're missing a tight end. John Richard was ejected from the game in the first quarter. Now, Rivers wants to call timeout. Again, he's got a problem trying to decipher what Georgia Tech's lined up in defense. He goes over to Noel Mazzoni, his offensive coordinator.
Fans, it's time for the Amtrak Program Getaway Contest.
Timeout. Georgia Tech, NC State now has 2 remaining. We're at the midway point or just beyond it here in the 3rd quarter. Georgia Tech 22-13 over NC State. 3 Dan Burnett field goals and 2 touchdown passes by Reggie Ball. One to Jonathan Smith, the other to Nate Curry. As Georgia Tech leading here at homecoming, trying to continue another tradition that they have seemingly gotten underway very nicely, and that is beating NC State here in Atlanta. Jermaine Hall and Chuck Amato talk things over. Now it's the Wolfpack, though, looking at 1st and 10. They're at the 19-yard line of Georgia Tech.
All right, now State has won in the second half. The oh so important battle of field position.
Yes.
Put them in great range of scoring, but it comes down to, can you get a touchdown as opposed to settling for 3.
1st and 10, 4-down territory. Cotry to the top, play action to that side. Pass is caught by T.J. Williams for a modest gain to the 15-yard line. Cotry cleared out. Williams came across on the square out, and Rivers on the play action found it.
Well, when you say Cotry, you mean you had at least 2 people involved on him. So it's a good number game. It's a great scheme. You create space, you try to run your tight end underneath, and that time he makes a nice catch.
Second down and 3. 3 wide receivers stacked up to the bottom side. This could be one of those bubble screens. It is the flat pass, goes to Hall. Hall turns the corner, dances the tightrope, but steps out of bounds at the 2-yard line.
Oh my goodness. There's all kind of ways to get it done. If you have T.J. McClendon in it, that's toss. You run the toss. If you don't, then you kind of dink it out to Hall, and you let him run with it. And those offensive linemen, boy, you've now created more space for him. Boy, he can run.
Yes, he can.
He's got a gear. Let's see if he steps out. Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Outside of that right foot, great camera work. And that's Butch Wilson in the other end zone.
Are you kidding me?
First and goal. And off is Josh Brown, and he's stopped. Keith Fox at the bottom of that pile. And Darrell Smith is there as well with Mansfield Rotto. No gain.
Joe Parker somewhere at the bottom of that pile, too.
Yeah.
He's having a ball game. Well, it goes down to, can you get lower than the opposition? And that's what it boils down to.
Omar Billy is also in there. Second down and goal. Ball just outside the 2. Call it the 3-yard line. Jackson and Brown are behind. Here comes the fake handoff. Rivers pulls it out. Looks across the end zone. Now heads to the sidelines and throws at the last second, incomplete. Before stepping out of bounds. And that preserves 3rd down and 3.
I wouldn't be surprised if they go back to regular formation now. I mean, they just didn't look good in that. And so you want to go back to what they do best, and that is flank people out. Get their bunch formation and try to put pressure on you to cover up all that space.
Chance Moyer was the intended receiver on the play. 3rd down and goal from the 3. NC State wants to knock this one in. They don't want to settle for 3. Washington in motion. He joins 4 wideouts out there. The screen to Hall. Hall turns the corner, but Dennis Davis is there to stop him. Dennis Davis with Reuben Houston. Push Hall on what has been a successful play to this point to the 11-yard line. It's a loss of 7.
Yeah, well, they've had some success with the play. You know, I think you got to go to the end zone. And I'm a big Cotchery fan, and so are they. And Clark with this size, man, I want to take my chances in pay dirt and see if you can stack up against my size and accuracy with my senior quarterback.
Adam Kiker for the 3rd time this afternoon. He's hit kicks of 42 and 21. This will be 29. No good! Wide to the left. Georgia Tech has held. They've played the entire second half so far at their end of the field, and NC State has only come away with 3.
Now that's playing some defense.
Timeout on the field with Georgia Tech holding on to that 9-point lead. Back after this word from your local stations. We come back here to Atlanta. 1st and 10, Georgia Tech. They've held. They're at their own 20-yard line. And Reggie Ball's back at work. Pass is complete. Little slant in there by Smith, and he's upended by Greg Golden. Very close to a 1st down at the 30-yard line.
Steve, Georgia Tech has had a lot of success with the slant. And I'm waiting to find out when we'll see a slant and up.
Yeah.
Because that's the big one. And it's a natural progression. And Ball has shown that he can make the throw.
Ball showed that on his 42-yard touchdown strike to Jonathan Smith. And Smith was his target that time.
That's one of the reasons the slant is open, because State anticipates that that's a possibility.
Yep. 1st and 10. Got the 1st down, an 11-yard gain to the 31. Ball back with time. Pass, little slant again. This time Nate Curry. And it's another Georgia Tech 1st down out to the 45-yard line. Greg Golden on the tackle with Andre Maddox. And Curry holds down the reception.
And that is so interesting because runs a slant with an outside release. And he's contested at the line by Golden. See, and he works his way back inside. Golden slips. He's open. Ball's there on time. And you get a positive gain, making an adjustment within the route.
Nate Curry's been busy today. 5 catches, 51 yards, and a touchdown, and a beautiful touchdown catch. Again, that stacked spread. But this is the handoff to P.J. Daniels, and he charges near midfield to the 49-yard line. Tackled there by Pat Thomas.
I like that Daniels. And this is what Georgia Tech's offense has today with Daniels that NC State doesn't have, you know, in the absence of T.A. McClendon.
That's right. NC State's tried to overcome that by little flat passes and bubble screens, as you would call them, that basically are nothing more than toss sweep plays. Get you out on the corner in a hurry with speed. But Georgia Tech has done a pretty good job defending that this afternoon.
Well, if I play Georgia, if I play NC State, they can have all the underneath things they want. I don't want them trying to go up top.
Ball on 2nd and 6. Rolls to the corner. Moses in pursuit. He'll hit the first down and puts the football on the ground, but they're going to blow it dead. NC State wants the ball back, but they're going to blow the ball dead at the 42-yard line of NC State. Reggie Ball.
I'll tell you what. Ronaldo Moses, you talk about a guy in pursuit. And this is what the gassers after practice are all about. Conditioning yourself so that you can chase a quarterback. And you watch 96 Red.
Oh, yeah.
He gets there. Ah, boy.
Oh. The question is, did he cough the ball up before his knee or the rest of his body hit the ground? I guess that's the question. But it's not going to be a question here, because it's going to be something for you and I to talk about. Ball back to throw on 1st down. Ball looking deep. They want interference, but they say it was uncatchable. The pass intended for Xavier McGuire.
Yeah, and that's why you didn't get a flag.
Redshirt freshman from Dallas, Texas. ACC football is brought to you in part by Toyota. Glad to have them aboard with us this season on ACC football.
Absolutely.
4th quarter, about 2 minutes and 44 seconds away. Georgia Tech playing on the NC State side of the field for the first time in the 2nd half.
You see, they'll take a shot. The Yellow Jackets have not been afraid to go for the long ball.
Ball, shovel pass to P.J. Daniels, and Daniels hauled down by Andre Maddox.
was close to that pitch.
Yes, he was.
And the concentration that P.J. Daniels has shown in this game. I mean, the guy is a quality back. I'm very impressed.
Daniels 12 rushes, 27 yards.
But he's blocked well. You know, he's done all the little things that it takes to help your team win.
And you know, he's caught 5 balls today.
No, complete back. Pass pro.
No gain on the play. 3rd down and 2. Georgia Tech has struggled in their last 6 3rd down conversions. 2 out of those 6. Screen pass incomplete to Daniels, and that'll bring 4th down up, and a chance for Georgia Tech to get some field position here.
Yeah, Manny Lawson played that 91 for the Wolfpack. Yeah, he smoked that one out.
Now, the first kick by Hal Higgins didn't go very far, just 24 yards. And he is up for one more. They could use a 24-yard kick here. That would pin NC State inside. And he's aiming for just that. Gets it inside the 20. And it goes out of bounds. Let's see where they mark it out.
Neither team has the killer instinct at this point.
No. No, it's just maneuvering right now. Marked out at the 18-yard line. And that's where NC State will take over 1st and 10. It's a 20-yard punt. Now's your chance to enter the Toyota Tundra Double Cab You Pick 'em football contest. Just go online at jpsports.com, click on the Toyota banner, and register and pick the winners. Weekly prizes will be given to the participant with the highest point total, and at season's end, a randomly picked grand prize winner to be revealed December 8th receives a new 2004 Toyota Tundra 4D cab truck. Shane Gailey not happy where they marked the ball out, but it's going to be at the 18, 1st and 10 for NC State. Here in the 3rd, Rivers guns on 1st and 10. Out McCoughtry for a 1st down, and Dennis Davis will drive him out of bounds at the 38. A gain of about 20. Mike Hogwood on the sidelines has something about Phillip Rivers.
Well, see, Phillip Rivers really acting like a coach, encouraging his offensive teammates when they were on the sidelines. You think about how frustrating that third quarter was. They owned the football game and only came away with 3 points, had a couple of drop passes, had to call a timeout. Team didn't line up right. But this is a senior quarterback, and here's where that leadership's going to be tested.
1st and 10 for the Wolfpack. Out at their own 37-yard line. Back to throw. There's a twist on by Georgia Tech. Rivers will carry it. Stiffs arms one defensive back and gets pushed out of bounds by James Butler at the 49-yard line. It'll be a gain of 12 for Phillip Rivers.
Well, Mike Hogwood hit it right on the nose. You give it to your Heisman candidate. You say, this is my senior. Go in and lead us. It's not about yelling and screaming. It's about making plays like this. You know, pushing a guy off that's quicker than you are, but he's not quicker if you are when it counts right there in crunch.
1st and 10, moving the chains to midfield. Gain of 11 on the play. Rivers repositioning. Play clock down to 7. Plenty of time. Draw play inside, and it's snuffed out by Georgia Tech.
Reuben Houston.
And Chris Reese as well in on the play. Whew. For the best deals on cars, trucks, and SUVs, visit your local Toyota dealer today. Chris Reese has recovered a fumbled kickoff and set his team up for a score, and he's had several blocks, several tackles here this afternoon. Using him quite liberally today as John Tenuta and company trying to get an extra defensive back into the formation. 2nd down and 12. Tenuta, of course, the defensive coordinator for Georgia Tech. Back to throw. Here's Rivers. Has some time. Pass complete to Cotchery near the 1st down marker and in Georgia Tech territory at the 38. A 12-yard hookup.
Let me just make a suggestion. I think I'd do that 3 or 4 times in a row. Because every time they need it, it's there.
It is.
You know, and I'd make you stop what I do best. I mean, sometimes, you know, and all offensive people get into patterns of trying to do things that the computer says are right and what we think we ought to do. The fact is, they can't stop 82.
Yeah.
Now, you can stop him by not calling his number.
2 wideouts. Now Clark moves into the slot on the right side. Rivers throws that little flat pass out to Hall. He dodges a tackle, gets a nice block from Cotchery on the corner, and is hauled down at the Georgia Tech 30-yard line, just 2 yards shy of a 1st down. And DeJuan Landry in on the tackle.
The momentum that I felt in the first half that Georgia Tech had, the Wolfpack now possess that. I mean, this offense is on a move. Neither team has really been able to capitalize, but look at the field position. I mean, it really dictates that you want to be with the Wolfpack right now.
2nd down and 1. All at the 29-yard line of Georgia Tech. Wolfpack trailing by 9. Here's the flat pass, incomplete. It's behind the line of scrimmage, and covering up is going to be Cotrey Jackson as we come near the end of the 3rd quarter. We have 2 seconds remaining, so we have time for one more play.
Ooh, when they see the film on this, they had numbers. I mean, they had more red shirts than white shirts, and that's what this is all about. And if they can make that connection, they might have walked the dog on that one for a score.
Instead, they're looking at 3rd and 1. NC State against John Tenuta coached defenses, 7 of 28 on 3rd down coming into this game. Wes Durham of the Georgia Tech broadcast crew gave me that stat. 3rd and 1 here. Rivers, pass, complete, but it's not good at a 1st down. Bertrand actually thrown for a loss by Jonathan Cox and Chris Reese. And that'll bring us to the end of the 3rd quarter of play. Georgia Tech's defense defends their end of the field very nicely, yielding only 3. And they lead 22-13 through 3 in Atlanta. Fans are in a great mood here in Atlanta. It's homecoming, and our Citgo ACC Game of the Week has all the drama we'd expect. 22-13, Georgia Tech leading NC State. NC State 4th down and 3 at the Georgia Tech 31-yard line, and they are going for it. In motion, Washington. Rivers back to throw. Across the middle. Incomplete. Intended for Cochery, who was knocked down on the play. NC State pleading for interference, but it will not be heard. Wow. And the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets hold on.
And they had Brian Clark, who worked himself wide open. And so many good things could happen in that bunch formations there. One guy's there, he's open. That's a tough way to go out.
A lot of fingers being pointed, but to no avail. And look at the rushing yards. Neither team really running it up. Both teams, of course, good rush defenses. The passing yards in favor of NC State, thanks to their keeping the ball in the second half. Total yards about even. But on the scoreboard, it's Georgia Tech by 9. Here's Reggie Ball, the pass or the pitch. Comes down to Daniels. He'll turn the corner and get first down yardage. And there's a flag thrown in late.
Yep. That's not smart.
No.
You want to be aggressive, but you got to play by the rules.
Ron Cherry with a call. The penalty marched off against NC State. He had first down yardage anyway. Chuck Amato concerned. His team's been in a hole before. They've come back from bigger holes. But they just created a bigger hole here with this 15.
First and final, 15 yards, added to the end of the run, automatic first down.
Yeah, and what compounds it, Steve, is when you're the road team. You're the visitor, you're trailing, and your defense recovers enough in that play. You're way beyond the white margin. I mean, it's way beyond it. Blatant late.
15 yards added to the gain originally, so that pushes the ball into Wolfpack territory at the 43. Ball on the pitch. Nothing doing that time. John McCargo in on the tackle. Coming up next week on our Citgo ACC Game of the Week, we bring you live coverage of the Virginia-Clemson game from Death Valley. This has always been a good battle down through the years. Two good quarterbacks going after each other, too. Matt Schaub, who's just come off an injury, looked good against Wake Forest last week, and Charlie Whitehurst, who excelled against these Yellow Jackets 2 weeks ago. They go at each other. Our Citgo ACC Game of the Week from Clemson next Saturday at noon. Back to throw. Here's Reggie Ball over the middle, incomplete. Right into the hands of Demarius Bilbo, and Pat Thomas was there.
Thomas got there a little earlier than Bilbo would like to have.
Probably
Then
heard
you
some
set up. And the quarterback can help you on that, throwing it low. And those, again, he's playing great, but down the road, you get a little older, you see that, and you'll throw it low and away and force your guy to go down and not take a hit.
3rd down and 16. Defenses both sides dig it in here. Only 3 points scored in the second half, 32 in the first. Back to throw. Here's Ball. Has time, steps up, fires. Incomplete. Intended for Jonathan Smith. And he had it in his hands, too.
Well, that had a little mustard on it. And Reggie did everything right. Stepped in the offensive line. The pass protection was excellent. And then we get a chance to watch on the replay. Man, look at the throwing lanes once again. It's been there for him all day. He steps up, too much on it.
Yeah.
It's too much on it. You got to settle down and make that play. And
oh boy. Higgins almost had it blocked. There's going to be a flag on the play. It's recovered down at the 16-yard line.
Moses.
Cotrade Jackson rushing. Roughing the kicker is going to be called on NC State.
Well, you got to take a shot at it. And Chuck Amato's special teams over the years have been unique. I mean, they get after you. They make things happen. But once you miss the aiming point, and really it wasn't blatant in that. When you're 6'6" and you miss,
that was.
It's kind of hard not to.
Roughing the kicker, running into the kicker. 15 yards, first down.
So an automatic first down gives Georgia Tech the football. Wolfpack territory at the 34-yard line. Ronaldo Moses and Cotre Jackson both ran into and roughed the kicker on that play.
Yeah, I think running into is appropriate. Roughing was not their intention, but the results is all that matters.
Well, Wolfpack very aggressive in the kicking game, as you said. Here's Ball back to throw, has some time, has a man out there, but he turned around his intended receiver on the play. That was Levon Thomas, the junior from College Park, Florida, Georgia here.
A little more extracurricular, though.
And we got a flag as a result. Another penalty on the Wolfpack. Penalties, problems in the kicking game, haunting Chuck Amato and the Wolfpack here as they're about to give Georgia Tech excellent field position.
Dead ball. Personal foul on the defense. 15 yards. Automatic first down.
Wow. That pushes Georgia Tech into the red zone at the 19-yard line. After the roughing call, another personal foul against NC State, and that pushes Georgia Tech into excellent field position.
Now, if you're the Yellow Jackets, what are you going to do about it?
Well, let's see. They got Smith, Curry, and Bilbo lined up to the top. The handoff goes to P.J. Daniels up the middle, and Bulls for big yardage and another first down. Stephen Tulloch on the tackle. That Georgia Tech offensive line's cleaning out some holes. And with more on that, here's Mike Hogwood.
Yeah, Hugh Riley, the senior leader up front, and the rest of the guys, they've had a lot of criticism all year long. But in this second half, it's been really obvious that they're getting the job done. Tech's going a lot to max protect. A couple of tight ends in the game, but give those Hogs up front some credit. They're really giving Ball some time, and you saw the hole they gave him that time.
P.J. Daniels gets it to the 7-yard line. First and goal. Here he is again. And he surges ahead to the 4 before he is driven back there. Alan Holloway there, the point of attack. And also Pat Thomas and Oliver Hoyt clean it up for NC State. Hoyt playing on a sprained knee that he suffered last week against North Carolina.
But Mike Hogwood mentions max protection, you know, keeping a tight end or a back end just to make sure that you keep your young freshman, you know, from getting his bell rung. And that's smart in a game like this when you're ahead.
Curry to the top side, Smith to the bottom. Double tight end set. One of them, Darius Williams, will step off. Here's Ball up to the middle, headed for the end zone. Maddox tracks him down, but not in time. Georgia Tech scores again. Second rushing touchdown of the year for true freshman Reggie Ball. And it lifts the Yellow Jackets to a 15-point lead.
You talk about sneaky. Oh, my goodness. What a block by B.J. Daniels. And our guy Maddox, who's had a great ball game, missed the tackle there. And Reggie Ball is in control.
Here comes the kick by Burnett. The point after is good. And Georgia Tech takes command. 29-13. They lead the Wolfpack. With 12:35 left to go in his fourth quarter, Reggie Ball, with a block from P.J. Daniels, follows it right into the end zone for the score. Today's game is brought to you in part by Hummer. Here in Atlanta, sunny day. It is homecoming, and things are going to form for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. And there again, a short kick that Burnett will force the Wolfpack to handle, and it's with great trepidation that they do. Coach Jackson picks it up at the 32. A penalty-aided drive by the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Importantly, a roughing the kicker penalty on fourth down pushed them deep into Wolfpack territory. And then a personal foul got them inside the 20. And Reggie Ball would score the touchdown on the far-yard run. Here's the drive, 8 plays, 69 yards, 2 minutes and 21 seconds to execute.
And the unsung hero in that drive was number 45, P.J. Daniels.
Yep. A nice sprint for the first down that gave the first and goal at the 7. And then the big block he threw for his quarterback to get him into the end zone. 1st and 10. Rivers play fake, step back, looking downfield long, has a man there. T.J. Williams dropped it as he tried to come back.
Tell you what, he's gesturing like he wanted it a little longer, but I'll tell you something. It's open. Yeah. And every time they go downfield and extend their passing game, they have people open. And that's been my point now.
Yeah.
For 30 minutes. It's not like they're being stopped or covered as they go in the deep zone. It is there. They just got to go after it.
Cotchery, Clark, and Tremaine Hall are split wide to the wide side of the field. Richard Washington to the short side or left. On 2nd down and 10, Rivers back to throw. Rivers steps out, pass complete to Josh Brown, and Brown gets a little bit of running room out to the 36. Chris Reese, who's been everywhere this afternoon, comes up with a tackle.
Good player. Reese is a good player.
Yes, he is. 16-point Georgia Tech lead elsewhere. Virginia Tech piling it on at Rutgers this afternoon at Piscataway.
Think the reserves are in by now?
Yeah, I got a feeling. So, and they probably are also in at Northwestern, where Minnesota is leading big. Got a good one down in the swamp where Florida leads Ole Miss on our Hummer scoreboard, and Nebraska with a 10-point lead on Troy State, who plans to take on the world this season.
Maybe over Air Force. My goodness.
3rd down and 3. Here comes Rivers, overthrows Jericho Cotchery, who was open between Rivers and Davis at the 50-yard line.
And that's why NC State continues to have a chance in this, because eventually, I got to believe that they'll make some connections and get a little bit of momentum going, but their defense has got to give them that right. They can't give up any more points at this point. It's just juncture in the game.
Philip Rivers surveys the battlefield. You saw John Tenuta, the defensive coordinator for Georgia Tech. It's kind of squared off to a battle between those two guys. Here comes Herbert for the punt, and it's a good one. Oh, my goodness. This will drive Smith back. He still doesn't have it.
Better get it.
Down to the 7-yard line. What a kick by Austin Herbert.
Man, that was a hogwood boot.
That was. Austin Herbert with a big punt. And it's going to put Georgia Tech back inside the 10, a 56-yard. Our Citgo ACC game of the week led by Georgia Tech, 29-13 with 12:06 left in the 4th quarter. Steve Martin, Doc Walker, Mike Hogwood here in Atlanta. Georgia Tech with its worst field position of the day, backed up to their own 8-yard line. But they're 16 points up. Handoff now to P.J. Daniels. A little bit of running room out to the 11-yard line. Maddox and Tank Tyler in there. Let's go down to the sidelines for a word about Coach Chan Gailey. Mike Hogwood.
Yeah, he told the offense when they were on the sidelines that they didn't have enough, that if NC State could score quickly, they needed more. They needed to stay focused in this game. And right now they're going to have to do it without their fine left tackle, Nat Dorsey. He's got a bruise on the back. He's got ice on it. Not in the game right now. Kenton Johnson is in to replace him.
Johnson, a sophomore from Hollywood, Florida, and a transfer from Morris Brown. They discontinued their program, so he and Chris Woods came over here. Back to throw, and being sacked is Reggie Ball, and coming in there is Herndon and Mario Williams and Pat Thomas.
And this is not the game that you want to be thrown in right in crunch. You're 71 on your left side. You're going against these speed rushers. In this case, again, Mario Williams for NC State. Boy, that is tough. You really have to set up well. All about the footwork. So he got beat out of stance. You can't get beaten out of your stance when you're going up against a guy that's a quick upfield rush guy.
3rd down and 12. Tech up by 16, but needing to convert here out of his end zone. Ball throws complete. Nate Curry at the 22 for the first down. Troy Graham on the coverage. A 16-yard hookup that saves the drive at the 22-yard line.
That was big time.
Yes, it was.
I mean, they have hooked up on some pivotal 3rd down plays throughout the ball game. Boy, you know, it's not how many plays you make, it's when you make the big play, and that was timely.
Xavier McGuire is split wide to the wide side or left side of the field. Out of the I formation, play action now. Here comes ball, rushes on, pass complete to Daniels. Daniels with some running room and another. Georgia Tech first down. Goes down in the grasp of Pat Thomas at the 36-yard line. It's a gain of the play of 14.
Well, the Wolfpack at this point, they've got to keep that energy level high. They got to look for tips and strips. They almost had a shot at it on that case. Lawson nearly got his hand on it. Defensively, you have got to force a turnover at this juncture of the ball game.
Well, what did Greg Williams tell us during our conference call? We got to keep ball inside the fence.
Right.
However, he's been able to perform in there today. First down. Back to throw, ball complete. What a catch. Levon Thomas from nearby College Park, Georgia, in front of his home fans. Oh, what a catch.
My. This is a highlight here. But when you get back to the huddle, you run by the quarterback, yo, dog. Kind of bring that bad boy down a little bit, all right? Because that's no fun, okay? It looks great.
Yeah.
But bad on your body. You want to have a good relationship with your quarterback.
Yeah.
As long as they keep those passes, keep you out of harm's way.
He's had a pretty good relationship today with his passing attack. Handoff now to Daniels. Not much there. This is going to be Reggie Ball's best day of his young career in terms of total yardage and passing yardage today. At 274, you saw. His best previous was 248 in the loss to Clemson. There's McCargo.
McCargo's having a ball game. I'd have to call him Clutch if I was with his team. You just have to give him a nickname.
Clutch
McCargo.
I like it. Third down and 2, however. NC State needs to make a stand here. Ball down the line, wants to pitch, and is captured by Ronaldo Moses and led in there.
Man, they knew they clearly were in the huddle on that one. But that was a great play by Ball not to toss that ball out there. That was a turnover to make. That's what NC State hoped for. They were in position to make it happen. It just didn't happen. But boy, they turned up the juice.
Oliver Hoyt forced the play. Ronaldo Moses cleaned it up for a loss. Here comes Hal Higgins. It's been an adventure with him today as he gets it out of bounds. And it's going to roll out at the 22-yard line. And that's where NC State will take over first and 10 with 7:43 left, down 29-13. Let's go down to Mike Hogwood with our Alltel Sideline Connection.
Thanks a lot, Steve. Reggie Ball is really handling the pressure well. This is a young man who was the first true freshman to ever start at quarterback for Georgia Tech. And what you like about him and what Changeli says he likes, he doesn't make the critical mistakes in big possessions. He has not thrown that big interception or made that mistake, even though that drive got stalled. Reggie Ball is playing with poise and confidence.
NC State now at their own 22-yard line. Phillip Rivers out of the shotgun. Throwing to the flats, complete. Tremaine Hall jukes past Houston and gets a first down for the Wolfpack. Out over the 33-yard line. Dennis Davis makes the stop.
Could you imagine having to deal with Hall in a game of tag, a flag?
Oh, I'm telling you.
I mean, you'd have no chance. This guy, he's got some quicks.
You break your fingers getting after the flag. look at Houston.
Oh, man. Quickest guy I ever played with was Joe Washington. Old Sooner boy, I tell you what, silver shoes.
Here is Rivers with time, and then it closes down. Travis Parker, Garris Wilkinson in on the tackle. And Rivers goes down for the third time this afternoon. A loss of 4.
You just feel like Phillip was one big throwaway. Putting some heat and a spark under his unit.
Back to throw. Here comes Rivers. Rivers pass. Oh, through the hands of Clark. Either Clark couldn't pick it out of the sun, which is coming at his angle.
Sometimes there's nobody to blame. And but yourself. They've had 3 opportunities now. Plus they've had 5 they still have an opportunity.
NC State looking at 3rd and 14. They're 5 of 13 on third downs today. They came in here with a 48% on third down conversions. Rivers back to throw. Biggest third down yet. Pass. Almost completed to Hall. Dennis Davis, Reuben Houston, Jonathan Cox covering on the play. Butler got a hand on it as well. And it goes to 4th down.
Well, it's the first play downfield that they've been contested in. That was a big series. A great opportunity that Wolfpack let slip away.
And Austin Herbert comes out onto the football field. For Phillip Rivers, an afternoon of frustration here in the second half. His team's only been able to muster a field goal. This one will go over the head of Smith, and it's going to take a nice roll down to the Georgia Tech 5-yard line.
And mistake after mistake after mistake on special teams in this ball game.
65-yard kick by Austin Herbert, who had a 56-yarder the last time down. Let's see how many times NC State can dig in. They're down by 16. Well, no matter what your preference for hairdo or disguise is today, if you're a Georgia Tech fan, you're puffing out your chest a little bit. Your team right now 16 points ahead of the NC State Wolfpack, but sitting at your own 5-yard line after a 65-yard Austin Herbert punt. Georgia Tech now trying to work their way upfield. Here's DJ Daniels. He gets out to the 9-yard line. Twice, Doc, the Georgia Tech defense has forced Phillip Rivers into 5 plays and out when they've needed to get to yardage.
Yeah, and he's had opportunities. Steve had just not been able to capitalize. Really, it's the first time in the ball game that I felt like they were contested with the deep ball. And you got to give Tech a lot of credit. They put people where they needed to be. Now it's back to the Wolfpack defense, where they just got him the football. They had good field position, and now time is running and working against them.
5:51 left to go here, and they're at least 2 scores back, counting by 2-point conversions. Daniels again surges ahead and barely gets back to the line of scrimmage. We've had some quarterback play on both sides here today. Phillip Rivers, typical yardage for him, 26 out of 40, 273 yards and a score. But no rush yardage to support that, and only 1 touchdown, while Reggie Ball, 23 of 36, 274, his best day yet in a Georgia Tech uniform, and 2 touchdown strikes, and has his team out in front here, 29-13. He's also rushed for a touchdown.
And that's what Coach Gailey's looking for, man. Just consistent improvement week in and week out.
3rd down and 6. Ball at the 10. Ball to throw. Pass is complete to Curry. And Curry is close to a first down on second effort. And they'll give it to him at the 17-yard line. 7-yard gain on the play. Andre Maddox and Troy Graham bring him down.
That slant route has been money in the bank for Georgia Tech. I mean, Reggie just sets up strong, and you can't say enough about the job that Nate Curry has done in this ball game. I mean, just being efficient and playing with attitude too. A little cockiness now on the part of the Yellow Jackets. Definitely a candidate for our player of the game.
Yep, 7 catches, 76 yards, and a touchdown. And Daniels is smothered there by Stephen Tulloch. And also Ronaldo Moses for a loss on the play back to the 15-yard line. Our Hummer scoreboard. Virginia Tech 20 better than Rutgers in Big East play. Minnesota has beaten Northwestern at Evanston today. Florida hanging on with Ole Miss challenging them. Nebraska into the 3rd over Troy State, only by 10. Trying to make it 7 wins at home in a row against NC State, and they're 4 minutes and 27 seconds from that goal. They're looking at 2nd and 12 now on their own 16-yard line. Oh, big draw play to P.J. Daniels. He breaks it in midfield. It's going to be a foot race. Maddox pulls him down from behind and saves a touchdown at the NC State 30-yard line.
I'll tell you what, if for my money, P.J. Daniels just earned himself some piece of this award if they pull this off a clear game. I mean, he has done everything it takes to help put this team in a position to win.
31 yards on the carry. Andre Maddox makes the saving tackle, but it's Georgia Tech 1st and 10 at the NC State 33. Jermaine Hatch is in the backfield, and he gets the call as they got to get Daniels a little bit of a rest. And Maddox comes up with a tackle along with Pat Thomas, and here comes Daniels back onto the field. He's had a big day.
PJ. Man, I wouldn't want to leave the ball game.
I'll tell you what, that 50-yard gain puts him over 100 yards for the 3rd time this season. And the 2nd week in a row. He had 100 yards against Florida State, 100 last week against Vanderbilt, and he's got 102 right now in this game with NC State, which is looking more and more like it belongs to Georgia Tech. Reggie Ball on the corner, flag flown on the play. Maddox, who else, brings him down to the 22-yard line.
That Maddox, man, he's a premium player.
He's been everywhere today, hasn't he?
He's a stud.
And this one's coming back. Ron Cherry's going to bring this back because of a hold that's going to be marked off from the 32-yard line. So this will go back to the 42.
Holding on the offense. It's a 10-yard penalty. We'll replay the down.
Our Napa Auto Care Center's players of the game, Andre Maddox, 13 tackles and a sack for NC State on the defense, and Reggie Ball, with some help from P.J. Daniels, 24 of 37, 2 touchdown passes, ran one in himself, and 283 yards, his best day. In a career where they'll have a lot of best days for Reggie Ball. We got a whistle here now, and some movement. 2:50 left to go.
Prior to the snap, a false start, offense. That's a 5-yard penalty.
So add 5 more to the 10 they already took off and push the Yellow Jackets back to the Wolfpack 48-yard line. But time is on their side. They're up by 16 with 2:47 to go. 2nd down and 25. And not very good body language on the NC State sidelines right now. They kind of, the full force of what has happened here is apparently starting to set in.
High expectations for that program, and rightfully so.
Yep. And Reggie Ball is flattened by Mario Williams, and that represents the future. But the present looked pretty good. I remember when we gathered at the preseason ACC kickoff meetings, a lot of people thought that NC State was good enough to knock Florida State off the throne this year. They also felt Virginia was. They also felt that Maryland was. But right now, Florida State's out there in front, and there are teams that can stop them. Join us this Saturday, as coming up next week, Virginia heads to Memorial Stadium to take on the Clemson Tigers. Should be a great affair. Both teams like to go for the big play and light up the scoreboard. The Wahoos have a hungry young defense who likes to get after the quarterback and make the big hit. Tiger D also likes to punish the opposition. Death Valley will be a sea of orange, all the tradition of Howard's Rock. As the Tiger fans get jacked up for a big ACC matchup, you don't want to miss a second of it. Exciting action. The Cavaliers and the Tigers live from Death Valley at high noon in our Citgo ACC game of the week. And what a weekend it'll be next weekend. Miami at Florida State. That big long-awaited matchup at high noon. Next year, that'll be a conference game that'll start at Labor Day. Virginia at Clemson, a vitally important game to see who stays in stride with Florida State as they march down toward the end of the season. But a dejected NC State team. They've suffered 2 tough losses on the road at Wake Forest and at Ohio State in triple overtime, and they are 2 minutes and 19 seconds from absorbing their 3rd loss of the season and their 2nd in conference. And you got to think the chances of a conference championship are about ready to melt away here for NC State. Yeah. 3rd down and 31.
I would agree with you on that one.
That doesn't mean they're out of contention for a bowl bid, because I really think that they will. Handoff inside is going to go to Daniels, and he's throwing for a loss. This will just bring the punting unit out, and let's send you to the sidelines with Mike Hogwood.
Hey, guys, I was talking to Chan Gailey this week, and he says, you know, I'm glad we're a little bit of an underdog, because when we've been favored, we've struggled. The game against Clemson, they struggled a little bit against Vanderbilt, but they were a dog to Auburn, and they played great. An underdog at Florida State played great. He says, I think our guys respond better when they feel they got to go out there and have something to prove. Well, they've proved a lot here this afternoon.
Well, they likely will be an underdog again next week at Wake Forest. It's going to be that Wake Forest has been tough on everybody. I understand the Wake Forest football team's watching this game today.
Well, Jim Grove's group, boy, that's a dangerous team to play.
4th down now coming up here for Georgia Tech. Hal Higgins, great story in itself. What has happened is that they misspotted the ball. I know Georgia Tech's been moving backwards here on penalties and losses and whatnot, but now they have respotted the ball to where they feel it should be, and rightly so, to the 42-yard line of Georgia Tech, and that's where they'll be allowing Hal Higgins to kick the ball from. Minute 34 left to go. Georgia Tech 94 seconds away from stopping the Wolfpack again here in Atlanta. Higgins off his foot. It's been a tough day for him punting, and the ball is down by Georgia Tech at the 34-yard line.
The Citgo ACC Game of the Week has been brought to you by your neighborhood Citgo, by Napa Auto Care Centers.
Chuck Amato's Wolfpack here. They have not tasted victory, not only under Chuck, but under his predecessors, Michael Cain and Dick Sheridan, since 1988. 0-6 and very close to being 0-7. And the worst part about this situation, Doc, is Phillip Rivers comes out on the field, 16 points down, with 86 seconds left to go and no timeouts. He'll throw on every down. Out to Washington in the flats. Washington makes 2 tacklers miss, but the 3rd comes in and gets it. And that's DeJuan Landry and Ke'Aaron Fox. Look at this score. Oh, my goodness. Oh, they're going to grumble in Gainesville now.
Oh, boy, that
Ole
website
Miss
is about to blow up.
Oh, boy. Ole Miss beating Florida today, 20-17. 2nd down and 9 now for the Wolfpack. Down here by 16 and not an awful lot of room to work with. Clark gets the ball out in the open space. Cox drives him out of bounds. He's got a 1st down at the 50. That'll stop the clock as they reset the chains and get to midfield. 46 seconds left to go. Georgia Tech next week goes to Wake Forest. NC State goes home to host Connecticut. Newcomer to 1A football. Rivers with time. Pass complete to Washington over the middle. Washington still on his feet and brought down at the 25-yard line. It's a gain of 25 on the play. And it sets the Wolfpack up again in the Georgia Tech end of the field. Again, reminder that NC State has no timeouts left. 32 seconds left to go. Here's Phillips, steps up, fires, complete. Washington, he's brought down at the 6. A gain of 19.
That vertical passing game. Of course, now Tech is in a softer style of defense, but Rivers is more than capable.
24 seconds left to go. Again, Rivers without a timeout. And he will down the football to stop the clock with 19 seconds left. You don't think there's some anxious people on Georgia Tech sidelines?
You better be aware.
But, you know, with 19 seconds left, 2 touchdowns down, you almost have to score on this play. To have any hope of maybe an onside kick and getting the ball back and getting one more play. But what about Reggie Ball? The true freshman, you know, you figured the kid come into the program and he'd have to hold the clipboard for a couple of years. Well, that job goes to somebody else. Reggie's played himself a ball game today. Phillip Rivers.
Joe Hamilton-like, man.
Yep, 2nd down and goal. And we've got a penalty. A delay of game against NC State. 3rd such penalty that's happened to them today. It backs them up.
5-yard penalty. The game clock operator, please reset to 19 seconds. 19 seconds.
Penalties and problems in the kicking game especially the return aspect, have haunted NC State this afternoon and left them with only 3 points in the second half. Georgia Tech taking advantage and leading here 29-13. 19 seconds left to go. Again, the Wolfpack without a timeout, looking at 2nd and goal at the 11-yard line. Rivers with time, as one would predict. Rivers looking for some ad-libs here, and incomplete. 7 seconds go off the scoreboard, leaving 12 seconds to remain.
And why you want to maintain an alertness in this if you're NC State, you have to put it in your mind that this drive is to win. So that if you get in this situation again next week or the week after, you've prepared.
For Chuck Amato's team, the injuries at tailback that have dictated the style of play that they've had to adopt to came back to beat them today. Here is Rivers. Back to throw. Steps up. Fires. Touchdown. Richard Washington.
Got a flag.
Got a flag back. Could call it back. Let's see what it is. Washington holding off on the celebration.
On the play, we're holding against an eligible receiver. By rule, the penalty is declined. We have a touchdown.
So Washington can celebrate. It's his 3rd touchdown reception of his career. But still some work to do for the Wolfpack. 10 points down. They're forced to go for the 2-point conversion here, and only 6 seconds remaining on the clock.
Steve, this will be one of those trips home where you just woulda, shoulda, coulda.
Well, you look at T.J. Williams' drop pass in the first half. You look at that.
And you have to preface everything by saying the fact that T.A. McClendon did not play in the ball game.
Yep. But you also have to look at NC State and say, well, could you have gotten more vertical to make up more yard? Here's Rivers throwing for the 2-point conversion. And Cotchery makes the catch.
Got it.
And he's got it.
I mean, this guy is so good.
He is.
And that's what brought my frustration on earlier. I mean, when you have that guy, I mean, this is what makes the game roll, the players.
This T.J. Williams is down. The tight end is down on the coverage, and the NC State medical staff gets out there to tend to him. They've already lost one tight end.
Yeah, you lost him for all the wrong reasons. And how much does that lay into hurting your team?
Exactly. He's down on the field. John Richer was ejected here in the first half for unsportsmanlike conduct on a play. 6 seconds remaining in this one. Georgia Tech about to even their record at 3-3 and get their first conference win. Williams trots off under his own speed to the sidelines. And now we will see what happens on this onside kick. Here's the 2-point conversion.
Boy,
oh, what a catch.
Perfectly thrown pass. Nice catch. I mean, playmaker, boy.
Yep, Cotchery has had a pretty good day.
Look at the long line of talent. Can't help but think about Holt every time I see that uniform, man. May have been one of the most dominant guys at his position in this league.
Yeah, no question. And he's continuing to enjoy great Sundays in the NFL with the Rams. Cotchery, 5 catches, 71 yards, and a touchdown. Next week, our Citgo ACC Game of the Week comes your way from Death Valley. Matt Schaub, Charlie Whitehurst, 2 good quarterbacks square off in Death Valley, high noon. In our Citgo ACC Game of the Week. We're looking forward to that one.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I love going down to Death Valley.
Virginia and Clemson. Virginia at North Carolina this afternoon. Clemson taking on the Maryland Terrapins. And we'll catch those 2 teams next week. We hope you'll be with us. Onside kick coming. Adam Kiker to do the honors here. At the 35-yard line. The hands team, as you would call it, in for Georgia Tech. And now Georgia Tech will call a timeout. They viewed what NC State's formation is here, and they've decided that they want to get another instruction to their special teams. Their special teams coach is David Wilson. Kiker heads to the sideline on this timeout. So a stunning upset, really. Although given the history of this series, you would sit back and then say, well, this is expected that Georgia Tech beats NC State in Raleigh. But given the fact that NC State had 611 yards of total offense against North Carolina a week ago, you expected them to run up and down the field today. They got it in the air, Doc, but they could not generate it on the ground.
And really, when you look at the trump card in this, Georgia Tech is able to produce a 100-yard back. And again, every game this year, no one has been able to rush for over 100 against the Yellow Jackets.
Right.
And I mean, that's what matters in this league.
Well, they held Auburn to 40.
Yeah.
They held Florida State to 57. And they're going to hold NC State to under 10 this afternoon.
They're going to hold.
There's the onside kick.
There's the bounce. Oh, they got that. That's all you want. They got what you wanted.
But did you get the ball? It got up in the air. It's going to be Georgia Tech ball. And this ball game's going to be over.
Yeah. Nobody to blame on that. That was a perfect kick.
Yep, you got what you wanted. You're right, Doc.
But your attack guys have got to go down there, and you got to remove Yellow Jackets. You got to go down there and get people out of the way. It's a good effort.
Chuck Amato congratulating the officials. Nathan Burton got on the ball for Georgia Tech, and one more snap of the football.
Yeah, there's no panic by Amato. He knows his club, they'll be back.
Yep.
They're talented, and they can play a little smarter than they did today, but you have not seen the last of the Wolfpack.
Oh, there's no question. Wolfpack with Connecticut next week, and then they've got Clemson in a Thursday night battle and a short turnaround on that. Then Duke, Virginia, Florida State, and Maryland coming down the stretch. There's the last snap of the football. And the final score as Reggie Ball steps away from the line of scrimmage. Georgia Tech hangs on and defeats NC State 29-21. Back after a word from your local station.